What do you mean? What is it?
Recording studio?
Yeah.
Does it go like? Is that Scott the engineer? Is Scott the engineer running the show?
You know, I desperately want an engineer.
More
than anything in the world, I want an engineer.
Well, if we get to the point where we actually have an engineer working for us, that means we've graduated to the next level.
Dude, we need an engineer.
Yeah, I would
That
absolutely.
was Howard Stern, right? Scott the engineer. Who was Scott?
I don't know who Scott the engineer is. You're just randomly making up words and names.
I haven't listened to Howard Stern for years.
My mic works.
I think I listened to him like one time, like
I don't really
10 years ago. Yeah. I remember he had that Robin Givens on the show, and then he always had like a comic, right? They always like the successful.
What do you mean Robin Givens on the show?
That Robin Givens.
There was a different Robin, not the one who was married to Mike Tyson.
No, Robin. Yeah, was it? I don't know. It wasn't the same person.
No, it was an African American lady who was like his sidekick, and then
she still is. Robin's like,
and then Opie and Anthony had Jimmy Norton the comic on, like there was their sidekick.
You know what? You might as well just. I don't know. Just talk about
when they weren't
laser lights and how they work.
When they weren't inviting the mentally homeless on their show, the mentally ill homeless, to threaten.
Why do I feel like
public officials?
Why do I feel like you listened to one Opie and Anthony?
I did.
And then that's the one you remember.
You know why? Because I was in a car with somebody going somewhere, and that's what they listened to. So I was a captive audience. I had to listen to it.
Where were
too.
you? New York? Because that's like only.
It's a nationally syndicated, so they're everywhere.
Oh
yeah.
But he was in the car with just a guy he met.
I was in a different state.
Yeah,
so they're not syndicated in this market. I'll tell you that.
Well, Ted, that was when you were hitchhiking, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Ted, yeah. Ted hitchhiked all through his neighborhood. Yeah, he didn't go very far.
Have you ever seen a hitchhiker? That's a good one. Have you ever? When's the last time you seen a hitchhiker? Like an actual person?
No,
standing
it's one of
inside
those
the road
things that
with
doesn't
the
exist
thumb out.
anymore.
It doesn't.
Right?
The hitchhiker doesn't exist anymor, right?
No, that's not true. They're not around here, but they are.
But when's the last time
Really?
you actually saw? I actually saw.
I'm going to tell you right now. Hang on. There are still states where there's areas where it is legal to hitchhike.
No, I don't agree, but I don't disagree.
Yeah, there are places where you can legally hitchhike.
I didn't think it was illegal.
What? Where? Yo, okay, that's what I thought. Thank you very much.
When's the last time?
Just looking.
No, when's the last time you saw a random person on the side of the road with their thumb out, looking for a ride, versus like the sign in their hand asking for a handout?
Right.
That's the question. I mean, it's probably been at least 15 years since I actually saw a person
hitchhiking in at least 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you right now.
Have you picked up a hitchhiker?
Yeah. So we were 20s, and there was a woman hitchhiking when we were in Wisconsin, and we picked her up. Yeah, we were in our early 20s,
and it was cool, right? You picked her up.
It might have been younger than that, even.
Yeah,
it might have been before.
Did you ever pick up a guy in a trench coat?
No, no. She seemed pretty safe, and she gave us some story about her having her car or something, and we gave her a ride to her house.
Broke up with her boyfriend. All that good stuff?
I don't remember exactly what the story was.
You ever see a grown man naked?
No, I would have to. Gosh, who was I with? I was with Stan, and I think Warscheider.
What's a Worcestershire?
It's like a sauce you put in.
Is that like wine? What's the name of that beer? Not Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire.
Yeah, that's the stuff for the Bloody Mary.
Warsteiner.
Yeah.
No,
There's a
beer called Warsteiner.
Yeah. That's when we took my old. I had an old, like 13-inch or 9-inch black and white TV, and we drove down. We were driving through Wisconsin, and we just were going about 70. And my buddy like half out of the car, and he whips it onto the street. And so we're like, oh, we got to see what happens. We go back and look to grab it. Absolutely nothing. Like it barely cracked the case. We had to throw that thing like 15 times.
Cheers was on.
No, it didn't work.
Working.
It didn't work. And so I said, I'm like, hey, we're gonna throw this in the trunk. We're gonna bring this with, and we're gonna throw it down the road. And we ended up having to throw it off a bridge before it broke. Yeah, we had to stop. We stopped the car on the side of the road, picked it up, and threw it down at some rocks off the side of the road before it fell down.
That's pretty funny. But that's actually funny. I don't think about the term. You hear the term bucket list, obviously, but I never think about it. But
that's your bucket list.
That was it.
No, but I'm saying, but wouldn't that be kind of funny?
I'm
like
done.
Part of the bucket list, just pick up a hitchhiker. Not that you want to get murdered by the hitchhiker, but just pick up a hitchhiker and drop them off safely.
Has that ever happened? Honestly, has that ever happened?
I've seen
anybody ever been murdered by a hitchhiker?
Yeah, of course.
I was.
It's happened
Twice.
Yeah. It's happened. You've heard about people or robbed at gunpoint by the hitchhiker, or the hitchhiker, something bad happens to them because they get picked up by like some serial killer.
Oh, so they turn the table. So the hitchhiker's just like,
no way.
I'm gonna kill the first motherfucker I see. Yeah, and then he gets in, and the guy pulls a gun on him. He's like, damn it!
Well, No, what was the movie?
So
no, what was the movie with the movie with Rutger Hauer? Came out years ago. He was the hitchhiker. Called The Hitcher. It was The Hitcher. Rutger Hauer was the hitcher, but he was like a really scary, suspicious looking dude. But people were picking him up left and right. They just couldn't stop picking this guy up.
Well, I think back in the day, everybody.
I think that's just an old. I mean,
an old wives' tale. Yeah, probably.
No, what I'm saying is that the majority of people that are hitchhiking over they don't hitchhike anymore. Like we just talked about, but like the 60s and 70s and even the 80s when hitchhiking was
like Woodstock, I could see that. That's like a cultural
when hitchhiking was like a thing and everybody was doing it. Like what percentage of people were being murdered or picked up by somebody that was being robbed? It was probably 1 in a million.
Yeah, it's probably the same percentage of all the people that do stuff. You just see it on the news all the time, so you think it happens every day.
No, but that's what everybody
walk outside and everyone's going to get shot. You're just like, that's not really going to happen.
Everyone's afraid of strangers, right?
You know what? I kind of like messing with strangers, so I have kind of a whole different thing. Yeah.
But you hear about these, like you read about some of these serial killers, and like some of their victims are like they always say, "Oh, I picked up a hitchhiker." I mean, like who the fuck picks up a hitchhiker? I mean, it's like I went to a Betamax repair shop. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, speaking of serial killers, that guy, the Tylenol guy, died yesterday.
Well, he was a suspect. He was never charged. Yeah,
the only suspect.
But you're right. Yeah, he was the only suspect. He died at the ripe old age of 78. So. Maybe he got away with it. Obviously, he was a suspect, but means he was never charged with anything.
They showed a picture of him in the paper. He's just like it's like a paparazzi shot of him walking like from the grocery store.
Yeah. No, I remember when the Tylenol.
It wasn't like a mug shot because I think didn't he get arrested?
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I think it was a kid. I was a kid when the Tylenol murder case happened, and and I think he was the only suspect they ever identified. But obviously being a suspect in and of itself,
he worked at the. Didn't he work for Tylenol?
I don't know who he worked for. Yeah, but whatever it is, I mean, obviously it was strong enough. Usually, when someone's a suspect, they don't like identify them publicly because you don't want to say something. But obviously, this guy's he's the only name ever associated with those murders. Like he might have done it. I
think it was 5 people died.
Seven
people.
Yeah.
7 people.
Yeah. And then and it's funny that actually brought about the change in the industry because I guess before that, I guess like all medication,
tamper-resistant
yeah,
stuff.
they tamper so you can't, if you see something without the seal, so that changed the whole industry actually, so.
Well, that's kind of cool. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. So last week, remember we talked about the hot dog eating contest, right? And Mark, you said that there's a lot of records for eating.
Oh,
things.
I looked them up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I was wrong on the time. I know it wasn't a minute. Most of them are like 8 to 12 minutes.
8 to 12 minutes. Okay, so Mark, if you know this, don't say anything.
Okay.
Taco Taco Bell soft tacos.
Oh, I like
soft
tacos.
I like
this is all Joey Chestnut.
No, there's a whole bunch of people.
Okay,
a whole bunch of people.
All I know. Okay,
how many in 10 minutes? How many?
What do you
Taco
think the record
Bell?
is?
Wait, what's the record?
Okay, well, I'm gonna compare it to me. So, like, I've gone to Taco Bell once in a while, and I've gotten the soft
if you
tacos.
ate anywhere close to this,
no,
you'd be dead now.
I think I've gotten the most tacos I've ever gotten at one time from Taco Bell. I think I might have gotten like a bean burrito.
That's
a soft taco burrito and like maybe 3 things.
Either.
Yeah, maybe 3 things.
So you've never gotten a taco from Taco Bell.
Yeah. So okay, but anyway, I might have eaten.
So your answer is the most I've eaten is 0.
3 or 4 things in a row from Taco Bell over the course of about like maybe 30 minutes or like an hour. But anyway, so that's me as a normal
53,
person. Yeah,
the record.
That's insane.
In 8 minutes.
The professional 10 minutes. And
10
the
minutes.
Professional Eating League, or I think it's called something like that. Professional Eating League or the Eating League of Professionals. I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
A league of professionals.
So I did.
A professional league of learned doctors.
Oh, and by the way, and like you had said, Ted, I saw pictures. None of these guys are obese. Women, none of these men or women
in fact,
are obese.
most of the women are like Japanese women. They're like super. They're thin and they're in shape. Yeah.
It's called Major League Eating.
Yeah.
So when you see Joey Chestnut and all these people that are on these things, they're all part of Major League Eating.
Yeah.
And there's got to be, I looked it up, there's probably got to be about 40 different foods, like string beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, just weird, like really, really weird shit. So you ready for this? Spam. 8 minutes.
God.
What do you think the record is for eating Spam?
How do they measure it? What, like cans of Spam?
Yes.
Oh my God, you got to
So
be
it's by
kidding
pounds.
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. Take a guess.
8 pounds.
8 minutes.
10 pounds.
10 pounds of Spam in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
You have to eat a pound of Spam, more than a pound of Spam a minute.
Here's what I want to know: do they throw it up when they're done, or do they actually digest it?
So I looked it up. It doesn't say anything about anybody barfing anything up. No, I think they just spend like they eat for like 8 minutes and then they shit for like 2 days.
They must have some I mean, I don't know how to talk about it, but they must have some type of laxative they take to just shit it all out because there's no way that could go in there.
But you don't want to talk about it.
Somebody one year at the contest on the 4th of July had to have their stomach pumped.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like,
you
went to
probably
the
get so
hospital and
sick
had one of the contestants.
You could die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's been people who died. I mean, not even like with
yeah.
that, but like there's been like for example, there's been radio contests where
Yep.
I think there was a radio contest years ago. I can't remember what it was, but the bet was whoever can like eat this in this amount of time.
It was water.
Well, yeah, it was something.
A woman killed herself. She drowned herself.
But it was something.
See,
But something like
happen.
if you eat this or like say drink too much of this within a certain time, and these are amateurs, obviously. These are not professionals. To win a car, she obviously did it, and then she croaked. Yeah, she won. It's like the guy who goes on the TikTok video and he drinks a fifth of vodka, and then then he's dead in like 30 minutes.
Oh, do you see that guy who was on vacation with his family?
No.
In Jamaica?
No.
What did he do?
47 years old. He was there with his wife and his like 2 or 3 kids, all under the age of like 13.
Okay.
It was in Jamaica. Yeah. At one of the restaurant or bars in Jamaica.
Like a resort? Like a resort?
Resort,
okay,
yeah. They had a contest that they have this extravagant, like extensive cocktail list.
Yep.
And they had a thing like if you can drink every cocktail on their menu, like you get a free T-shirt or something.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a bad idea.
This
and you know what you get? You get death, brain damage, and coma too.
This jackload was already drinking during the day.
Oh, he was completely fucked
up
all day.
And they showed up at the restaurant. He's like, I'm in on that.
Yeah.
And he did it and died at the resort.
How old was he? Like
47.
Wow.
But he was there with his young children.
Yeah. He thought it was at a frat party.
And
they're blaming the resort. They're blaming the resort.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course they are. Like because the resort has to.
Yeah.
But this is what you should
are
do.
Are they going to extradite the resort to the America to charge them with the crime?
If you have, in whatever business you have, the first thing you have to do when somebody comes in, I don't care if you're selling something like food, I don't care if you're selling like shoes, the first thing you have to do is get an extensive list of everything that person's done for the last 6 months before you sell them any shoes. Because if you sell them running shoes and they haven't run in forever, then they run and then they die, you're on the hook. So you have to say, have you run? No.
Well, I mean, although the exception,
No
if you're out of the country, I mean, obviously it's Jamaica. They're not going to extradite the restaurant. Okay, let's just say his family, his estate sues.
He's from, they were British too.
They sued the Jamaican resort and they get like a $10 million verdict. Do you think they're going to pay it?
I mean,
it's not going to happen.
Again, none of this works if I'm on the jury. Because I'll be like this. I go, was this guy forced to be in this contest?
Yeah.
No. Was he completely drunk when he did it? Yeah. Okay.
No, wait. This trial's in Jamaica, so you got to put on one of those dreadlock wigs. Yeah.
That's kind of
no, that'd be awesome. You know what you do? You get Shaggy. I keep listening to Shaggy and Sting, the reggae stuff they're doing, and it's fantastic.
Oh shit, that's Shaggy. I thought you were like,
but you get Shaggy to do it. Yeah.
I thought you were that Shaggy.
Hey man, say it wasn't me.
So I know in the South, it's actually I've heard this for years. Like, so they got these like restaurants. Like I think there's one called the Heart Attack Grill. It's a real place. I don't know where it is in the South, but it's like if you could eat whatever their signature dish is. So let's just say it's a quadruple hamburger that's deep fried with like a fried egg on top with whatever the most grease and saturated fat you can have. If you could eat it all, you've heard this at restaurants. Like if you eat whatever their feature is, like in one sitting, you get it for free.
Yeah, that was that one guy, Man versus Food. There's actually a TV show.
Yeah, it's a good show.
And he goes and he does the eating contest. And sometimes it's like super hot stuff or it's just a massive amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he started out pretty normal sized and he did it, I think he did it for like 2 years or 3 years. Yeah. He was actually hideous. I mean, he was just so
He's a funny
fat.
guy, too.
He's pretty funny, yeah. But so he had to stop doing it. And then they got another guy. And then it was so bad that he had to start like getting people from the neighborhood to do it like 2-man things because you just couldn't do that without, getting really.
The one guy was like a ginger, right, with the mustache.
Yeah, there was something wrong with him, yeah.
No,
wait, that's not what we're saying?
He had a recessive gene, too? Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I just thought it's just so gross. I mean, there's so much good food, and the fact that you would just slam.
Well, I mean,
any
type of even like look at happy hour, like which I think is illegal in some states, where it's like basically the whole concept of happy hour is like you get to drink all you want at half price for an hour straight.
But I don't think.
I
mean, it's not like a. I mean, it's not like
but it's not a contest.
I know people probably go there.
No, but that's right.
But it's the same concept.
It's the same.
It's the same concept.
Yeah, it was illegal in Chicago for like 30 years. It's not anymore, but
yeah, I remember they used to. Yeah, we had happy hour.
You had basically the concept is you can't reduce the price of alcohol for a specific. It's got to be the same price for 24 hours.
So you just give away 2 at a time?
Well, no. I mean, if you're going to do that, it's got to be for a whole day. You can't you can't reduce the price of alcohol or give it a special for like a limited time. It has to be 24 hours. That's what the law was in Chicago.
You can't even have a drink special?
No. Well, yeah, but it has to be for 24 hours. You can't say
like a whole day,
2 for
like
1
Thursdays.
from 5 to 7.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So
God, it's so stupid, man. It's actually hard to imagine.
Well, look at the concept of like you go to a wedding, open bar at the wedding. It's not a contest. It's not a contest.
Yes, it is.
No, but it's not a contest per se.
Yes,
but how many
is.
people take advantage of that? Where it's like, hey, it's an open bar. I'm going to drink all I can drink until
at my wedding,
I can't drink anymore.
we had people getting cut off.
You've been married?
Yeah. People got cut off. That's how bad.
Wow.
That's how drunk everybody got.
Who cut him off?
Yeah, the bar.
Who's
I don't know,
the adult in the room?
bartender. people were like going back behind the bar and just taking bottles. The guy's like, no more for you, and somebody just grab a bottle.
Was
and
like
do it. Or somebody would order like 3 something and hand it to the guy who got cut off.
Was this like leaving Las Vegas or some shit like that?
Dude, I mean, I don't know. It was pretty bad when you get married. You get married in your 20s, right? Everybody's. It was kind of
I suppose.
free for all.
Well, I bowl league. When I used to bowl league, like there's a lot of like younger teams that at
You
least,
bowl league?
Well, not this minute, but when I did. But there's like it'd be like a team of like younger guys. They're all in like their early 20s, and yeah, I mean they're just it's like every other frame. It's like a round of shots are coming to their lane. Getting them.
And it's Wednesday, right? It's
like it's just Wednesday. Yeah, this is Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
And
yeah. Wait, there's nothing wrong. Wait, hold on a second. Yeah. We're going out drinking tonight. It's Monday, and we're going to go out drinking after the show.
Yeah.
So
but now we're in our 50s.
Yeah. But not.
But
not
I did what I drank
power
less
drinking.
when I was in my 20s.
No, not power drinking.
Dude, we
like
played
that,
softball all summer long. We played softball every night of the week, and we went out every night.
Yeah. I did that.
Yeah.
I did that.
What was our motto? Win or lose, we booze.
Yeah, we did that too.
Okay,
that was.
We kicked guys off the team that didn't show up to the sponsors bar.
Oh yeah, that was part. Well, they would cover the $350 or whatever. Yeah. Right, for the league, or $400, $500, whatever it was, and they wanted to get their money back.
Do you want to hear? You want to hear a funny story about my softball team?
No,
I was.
I'm not laughing, but go ahead.
We were a team for almost 12 years, and we played summer and fall ball. And when I joined the team, they'd already been a team for this was the 5th season, I think, and they had been going back to the same bar, EPI, every Thursday. And it was a group of guys, they went back deep, 10, 12 deep every single Thursday.
Yeah, you got it.
And stayed well into the night. Just buckets of beer. So we're sitting there, and I came up, I'm like, why did I have to pay? And the guy that's running the team was like, what do you mean? It's like $1,000 for the summer. I'm like, wait a minute. We come in here, you guys been coming in here every they're not sponsoring you? And he's like, no. And there's all these other teams that are being sponsored, and we're the number one drinking. So I called Jamie over, the waitress, and I'm like, hey, do you think you guys can sponsor us? And she goes, what do you mean? We're not sponsoring you? And I'm like, no. She's like, oh my God. She's like, you guys are the biggest team every Thursday.
No, she was biggest assholes. I think she.
No, we weren't
assholes. You heard assholes.
We definitely were not assholes. And yeah, so
isn't that what all assholes
so for 5 years, these guys that I played with,
they were drinking there.
They were just going back to the same bar, and they were not sponsored.
Wow.
Our golf league is sponsored for.
I know. That's what I was thinking about that the other day when you were talking about that.
Jeez.
That's
okay.
crazy.
We got to get this thing rolling because we got a guest coming on a little bit. We got to get to Teddy's tips. What are you whispering about, Ted? I can't. There's a microphone in front of your face. You don't even know that there's a guest. I love every time you're here. You had why.
Wait a minute.
Ted is mouthing words so that people can't hear. You had no idea there was a guest. I've talked about this guy. Whatever. Okay, let's do this. Hey, everybody. My name is Matt, and this is the Real 3 Idiots podcast. With me, as always, is the leading rebounder in the history of the NBA, Mark.
Round mound, a rebound.
Oh, I love Charles Barkley, man.
Me too.
Oh, that was one of my favorite things. And I don't know if you know this, Mark, the man who invented skee ball, Teddy.
I just see this extra large bottle of Aveeno lotion in the background, and and the thing is, I see the bottle, but you don't look well moisturized. So I'm just wondering what's going on. What's going on here, man?
There'll be none of that.
Is there something you want to tell us?
There'll be none of that. Okay, let's get to Mark's. Oh, let me get to a sponsor.
I don't have a song.
You don't have a song?
No.
Oh, okay. No big deal.
That's okay.
No big deal. Okay. Let's get to the sponsor, and then we'll do the tip. All right. No one wants to think about insurance, but we have to. And if you don't have it, your kids will be living in a van down by the river if you die. At Mega Insurance Consortium, we know how quickly life can end. At any point, you can be hit by a bus, attacked by a marauding band of infidels, hit by a car, have trash fall from an airplane and crush you, get hit by a horse and buggy. be electrocuted by a pleasure device, hit by an electrified scooter for fat people, mauled by wild dogs, or hit by a stolen tank that a drug addict has taken for a joyride. Mega Insurance Consortium can make sure that no matter what you get hit by, bit by, or
You can do it.
or whatever shit hits you, you'll be covered. Go to megainsurancconsortium.com, and we guarantee if you can think it up, we can make money protecting you from it.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And no song, so that's all right. Will you have a song for tomorrow? Yes.
Sure.
Okay. All right, Teddy, are you ready for your tip?
Yes.
Are you on the phone?
I'm looking at the tip.
I'm going to read it to you. You don't need to look at
Okay.
it.
Then.
All right. Ted, I need your help. My mother-in-law came and stayed with us for 2 weeks. She's great and lots of fun. She came out with my friends and I and got very drunk and told us that she and her husband go to swinger parties and do all sorts of wild stuff. All of my friends heard it. I swore them to secrecy, but I know at some point they will talk. Should I tell my husband or just hope he never finds out?
Yeah, so I just want to say a couple things about that. So first of all, your mother-in-law, is she hot? that's number one. No, I'm just kidding. So second thing is, okay, so here's the thing about
Ted,
secrets.
are you hitting on this woman's mother-in-law
Here's
without
the-
even seeing
Here's
her?
the thing about secrets, okay? Two people can keep a secret if one of them is dead. That's what you need to know about secrets.
So is this going to be another poison thing where you give us
No. So I'm just saying, so chances are there are no secrets anymore. Okay, so here's the bottom line. Okay, just tell the husband. Okay, you know why? Because nobody cares if the mother-in-law or the father-in-law are having sex with strangers on a knowingly and voluntarily consent basis at swinger parties,
Oh, man.
right?
I mean, would you? I would not want to know that about my mom. I mean,
Yeah, but they already know. But everybody knows. So it's
Well,
just
he doesn't know.
Well,
It's
yeah,
his mom.
Yeah, so it's just one. Yeah, so you know what? You got to break it. Just sit him down, break it to him gently.
How do you break? No, there's no way
I
you
would show him
break
like
that.
show him some website. Just say, "Do you know what a swinger is?" And if he says no, not really, he goes, "Then you got to go to Urban Dictionary." and then
Wait,
just,
what if he
and
says?
just show
What if he says? You know, I used to walk around the house and my mom and dad used to be talking about that stuff. Weird. They must have had some friends. That
Or
did that.
what if she says that? Honey, do you know what a swinger is? And he's like, I've been waiting for you to. This is awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. This is going to be perfect.
Now we could be like my parents.
Yeah.
She's gonna be like, you knew?
No, here's what
Well,
you.
what if he knows?
No, here's what you do. You go to like obviously you look up the definition of swinger. Maybe you go to there. I'm sure there's some swingers websites out there. I've never been on one personally. And then you take it to husband, who obviously is the only one who's not in the know, and you show it to him. And if you say, hey, what do you think of this? What's your philosophy on this? And regardless of what he says, then you break it to him gently. They say, hey, with all due respect, we regrettably need to inform you that your mother is a part
With
of
all
that.
due respect.
With all due respect, your mother is a part of that subculture. I am sorry.
All right.
But better-
So you're saying tell him.
Just tell her. Just get it
Tell
over with. Yeah, I'm assuming this
Okay.
is a grown man who's obviously knows about the boy parts and the girl parts, and what happens when the boy parts and the girl parts meet up with one another.
Yeah, I
and
just think that's so wild.
it is, yeah. I mean, nobody wants to visualize our mothers doing those
Oh.
things.
Man, I would, and to be honest, I think I would rather not know.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'd rather just, it'd be funnier if he just found out by accident somewhere.
yeah.
Or yeah.
But since everybody knows except him, I think it behooves.
I agree with you.
Just
Ted.
say behoove
100%, yeah.
as much as possible.
You agree with him?
Yeah, because I mean, well,
If nobody knows, I'd say yeah, don't tell him. But since everybody knows except him,
exactly.
then just
she,
get.
She told all of her friends.
Get in front of it.
No,
Get-
yeah.
get
so
in front
she
of
could
it.
say,
Well, I think they were out drinking.
right? No,
Yeah.
but she could say, hey, we were out.
Yeah.
Me and Laura and Gina and we were all out with
Yeah.
your mom last night. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know what your mom told us? And then right there.
Yeah,
right?
just
She doesn't like scrambled eggs.
just
And
just it's a problem. The best, like if I was a PR guy, if I was an agent for someone, just get in front of it. It's an issue. Someone's going to find out eventually. Get in front of it and just preemptively tell him. Let him get it out of his system. He'll be in denial for a while. There'll be anger, denial. With the stages of grief, you got denial, anger, acceptance, and then we'll all move on with our lives. Okay, tip over.
Good.
okay, no, oh wow, Ted,
No poison.
yeah, I honestly am glad
no
you.
stalking.
No need to kill somebody. It's just a swinger. It's just a swingers party.
Okay, I just feel like poison was your go-to for almost every poison or a poison animal was your go-to for almost every tip. So I'm kind of excited about that. Okay, let's get to our guest because our guest is here, and I'm very excited about this. Okay, our guest today is Mike McCarter, and he is the president of the Greater Idaho Movement. Mike, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you
Oh,
fine.
excellent. All right.
Welcome,
all right.
welcome.
Thanks so much for being on the show. I am so excited about this because I've done so much research about this. This is really cool. I love the concept. All right. So, Mike, give us the short version. What is the Greater Idaho Movement?
Well, the Greater Idaho Movement started out as Move Oregon's Border, and it was the out of the box concept of grassroots people from rural Oregon trying to get away from Oregon's fanatical, liberal, left-leaning, dictatorial government. And we've tried it for 30 years the right way of, okay, let's all vote. Let's all try to get the Republican Party back into it. And guess what? What is the definition of stupidity? Trying to do something, doing it the same way every time and expecting a different result. It hasn't happened.
Yeah, that's kind of the motto of this show. So
That's why we're not making any money.
yeah. Okay, so you guys want to take I'm going to say like the eastern half of Idaho or eastern half of Oregon and become part of Idaho. That's the basic
half.
Yeah, it's basically half of
Right.
So
Oregon.
like
right?
secede from.
Well, no, just leave Oregon, and you want to be part of Idaho. You want to join the state of Idaho.
I see.
Right. 62% of Oregon's land, Eastern Oregon, 9% of the people, which our votes never count because it only takes us half of Portland's vote to cancel us out. So we want to get out from underneath Oregon's governance and join Idaho because they are more traditionally like we of Eastern Oregon folks are.
Wow, that is really wild because what half of all registered voters in Oregon live in like that Portland area, right? So 4% of the state, they take up 4% of the actual state, but that's basically half of all the voters are in one place.
So I actually did no research on this topic, but I do have a question for you. But I'm going by memory. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir. So now, was that Portland that had the Chop Chaz zone issue? Remember where the Chop Chaz zone? Remember where the people kind of took over like a couple of square blocks, and they just sort of like there was no police. Like the police kind of vacated the area, and all the businesses were at the whim of these mobs who just kind of took over areas of the city, and the businesses, were disillusioned with the local government, and they were threatening to leave this. I don't know, maybe some of them actually did, like kind of like the San Francisco deal going on there. But yeah, was that the Chop Chaz zone? Did that happen? Was that Portland that happened, if I recall? That was like within the last 3 years or so.
Portland's becoming the sewer of the Northwest. I mean, nobody here wants to go to Portland anymore. We wouldn't want to go over there. No way. If I'm packing a gun, which I do most of the time, on it, I don't want to get put into a position where I could take and end up in jail, lose everything financially. And, actually 79% of Oregon's population's in that Northwest quadrant. 79% of it. And we don't agree with their decisions. But, in the Oregon legislature this year, not one single bill from Eastern Oregon was passed.
Wow.
Anything that was passed had concerned the Western side. And it affects us at the same time. The stupid rules that come about. So we're saying, give us a break. Let us go. If you don't want to listen to us, hey, we're ready to go. We don't want to move because we love where we live. Why not just adjust the border to put us under the same type of government we want, the same type of government they want?
And that's, the interesting thing is Chicago, Illinois is kind of set up in the same sort of way. Chicago has, I didn't look up the actual percentage, but a massive amount of people that live in Chicago and have made it very democratic. And actually, a few years ago, some Republican state legislators from down south wanted to make Chicago its own separate state.
Yeah, succeed from Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's such an outlier. Because Chicago is such a blue area and it's so liberal. But the rest of the state itself does not represent the views of Chicago. And you could probably say the same thing about maybe New York City versus the state of New York, or I'm sure there's another analogies. But how actually physically far are you, sir, from Portland, Oregon, like just mile-wise? Like where I've never been to the Pacific Northwest, so I'm curious. So.
How far are we away from Portland?
Yes, sir.
2.5 hours
Oh, okay. Yeah.
drive time.
Okay.
So you would say probably not far enough.
Yeah.
One of the Idaho representatives, Representative Boyle, who's totally in favor of this, said the first thing we want to do when Eastern Oregon becomes Idaho is build a wall so that people from Portland can't come over to Idaho.
I just know real estate prices in Portland have gone up exponentially. I think like just over. I mean, just like if you just read national news, like because a lot of people are moving to Idaho. I don't know what specific parts of Idaho because with the work from home thing going on. So the real estate prices, because Idaho is obviously a very beautiful country, of course, and it's a very desirable area. Well, I've never been there, but I'd like to get there one day.
Yeah, you've never been to a lot of places. So you guys did. I loved your website because you guys did a comparison between Oregon and Idaho. And you kind of like Idaho's the third best state to live in, and Oregon is only the 23rd. And you had all these different things on there. So you guys have been doing this since 2019. You started the Greater Idaho Movement, right?
Right. It started out as Move Oregon Borders,
Right.
And we're not out of staters. We're not politicians. What we decided is we need to find out what the people of these counties think.
Mm-hmm.
How do they want to start looking into it? And to date, 12 out of the 15 counties so far have voted in favor of it, of looking into this and get this ball rolling with it. And we still got more counties coming that are going to come up for vote. Right now, it's stalled in the Oregon legislature.
So
they say we don't want to talk about it, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, oh well, this is a harebrained idea. If we just stall it, it's going to die and go away. Folks, we're not going away. We're not stopping. And we just launched Greater Idaho nationwide through our team GI on our website. And I got donations from Ireland, England, Israel, Australia, France. This is a worldwide problem. It's not just an Oregon problem or an Illinois problem. There is a rub between urban and rural that's getting wider and wider, and something's got to break. We're just saying, hey, we don't want violence. Why don't you just let us go, sign us over to Idaho, and you'll be the first state to come up with a solution.
And it's not that outrageous. I mean, borders have been moved. I mean, even in Oregon, I think it was in the 1950s, between Oregon and Washington, I believe they moved borders just a little bit to like make a river kind of a border and that kind of thing. So, I know South Carolina and North Carolina did it where, it affected us like only like 25 or 30 families, but they actually moved the South Carolina border over and they became part of North Carolina. So it's not like it's something that couldn't happen.
So is this something that is decided upon by the states, or is there any federal jurisdiction or interference that has to happen?
Good question. Now, a lot of people think it's the same thing, Article 4 of starting a new state. It is not. It's Article 1 of the Constitution, Section 10. It's a contract between Oregon and Idaho, just like a contract in business, to adjust the border. Once they come to an agreement, the two legislatures, it goes back to Washington, D.C. for approval. We think it'll be approved. You got a blue state and a red state that both agree. It's not adding more senators. It's only shifting one representative. So why not let them have it?
Now, there is some money involved here because if you guys move to Idaho, Idaho is going to get extra federal money that Oregon's not going to get anymore. I mean, if Oregon is just looking at this as far as financially, what do you give to Oregon to say let us go, because they're going to lose some dough, they're going to lose some federal dough, and there's big money there. How do you get around that?
Stop and think about this. Western Oregon subsidizes Eastern Oregon at a tune of $690 per year per wage earner, coming out of the West, going to the East with it. This came out out of an economic impact study, not our figures and all. So actually, Western Oregon would end up richer. They would end up not having to deal with the Republicans walking out of the legislature trying to stop a bad vote on it, and we'd both be happy.
And again, it's not so back a little while back. There was actually a movement in California to break up the state of California into 6 smaller states. They actually want to do that because the economies were so different in these 6 different regions. And there have been a lot of different people that said that if you kind of redrew some lines and put some bigger places together and had some more rural areas, that they would have a more the government would be a little bit more representative of the people that live there. And it'd be a little more even.
Absolutely. You know, in the started around 1939, 1940, there was the state of Jefferson. Part of the Southern Oregon counties, part of the Northern California counties wanted to come together and form the state of Jefferson. They picked a governor. They had it set up to vote. The vote was to take place on December 11th, 1941. And guess what happened 4 days prior to that? December 7th, 1941. And it just killed the whole thing with it.
World War II?
So,
Pearl Harbor, Ted. Pearl Harbor.
Okay,
Yep.
so
It's World War II.
wow. So I'm hoping that you guys don't get this like a chance to vote in World War III or something happens. That would be that'd just be bad luck.
Well, you know, I think the big takeaway what this gentleman's saying is that, and we've actually talked about this on the show in the past. So politicians in general are there to do the will of the people. They are public servants that are paid by our tax dollars. They're not kings. They're not celebrities. They're to do the will of the people. And if they're not doing the will of the people, they should be fired, recalled, whatever it takes. And it shouldn't be that difficult to do that. So, you know, but they're very insulated. So you can extrapolate this argument to the U.S. Congress or Senate where they think they're somehow above, you know, and they would talk about, oh, everyone's equal under the law. No, they're not. There's people who are definitely more equal than others. And the only time we've actually joked about this on the show, but the only time Congress and the Senate have actually gotten together real quick is when there's a perceived threat to their power. That's the only one time they really agree on everything. So I think the big picture takeaway is that the politicians are not doing the will of the people, whatever that will is, you know, whether we agree with it or not. But if they're not doing the will of the people, those politicians who are stopping people, the will of the people, should be recalled, should be fired, and politicians should be, you know, elected that are doing the will of the people. That's my big picture takeaway. So
there's a problem that you've got, and you were absolutely right. But the politicians in Western Oregon are doing what their constituents want them to do. And that's to deal with their problems, to ban guns, to open up the drug market. Now they've even passing laws to take in and provide drug paraphernalia so that people can smoke fentanyl in Portland and not inject themselves with it. Where are we going with this? And so they're doing what their constituents want them to do so they can get reelected.
So in Illinois, like I'm sure it's the same way by you guys. I mean, we have a lot of counties in Illinois, a lot of counties. The biggest county is Cook County. It's one of the biggest counties in the country, if not the biggest county. Cook County has a lot of different rules, laws, and taxes that other counties around do not have. And there's a lot of border, because Cook County is so big, there's a lot of border counties around Cook County. A lot of people take up the argument, yeah, I'm moving out of Cook County. I'm going to still stay in Illinois because if I live in Cook County, I got to do this, and this. Here's the laws, here's the taxes. But if I move 2 miles away into Lake County, I don't have to pay Cook County tax. We have the ability to do this, and that. Is that an option like by you guys? I mean, is there like what laws are affecting you that you can't get away from because I'm trying to.
Yeah, what are some of the issues that you guys are making you guys want to leave Oregon?
Yeah, like
is really
Okay, yeah, corporate activity tax. They say Oregon doesn't have an income tax. One of the 2 states. I mean, not a sales tax.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One of the 2 states in the union.
Minnesota, right? Minnesota and.
Oh crap! They take and put it all on the corporate heads, and when the corporate heads get these extra fees and costs, what do they have to do? They pass it down. Who pays for it when it's passed down? We do. They're jacking the minimum wage up to a point where you cannot, I mean, 13 and a half, 14 and a half bucks an hour on the minimum wage. And of course, we see this across the country. Hey, folks, minimum wage wasn't designed to live on. It was entry level people starting to work with it. And again, if a company like McDonald's has to pay 13 and a half, 14 bucks an hour for common people working behind the line, guess who's going to pay for it when you buy a hamburger? You're going to pay for it. So the drug laws. Do we want Eastern Oregon to be like Portland? Heavens no, we don't want that there. And so, and they just keep coming up. The green laws, now they're talking about banning diesel in Oregon and going to electric tractors and electric combines. Give me a break.
Well,
It's going to put ag out of business.
I mean, at some point, gas vehicles are going to go away. I mean, you can't. I mean, at some point, there's going to be electric vehicles. It's just going to get better and better, and they won't exist anymore. I mean, so some of the things
that's going to take a long time.
I understand that,
so, yeah.
but I mean, at some point, things have to move forward. We can't stay. We can't do what we've done 50 years ago and expect it to work.
Well, it's like coal mining. I mean, that was a thing back in the 1800s, and it's just one of the things that's just fallen by the wayside because of just artificial intelligence is a new thing. I mean, who knows what that's going to look like in 5 to 10 years from now. So
right. So I mean, some things you kind of have to move forward on. Okay, so let's do this. Let's just say, as you go through, you do this for a couple of years, and it's just not working. Where are you willing to go? What's the end result here? Like, so say you take your votes. And say Oregon, they kind of pussyfoot around. They don't do their thing, and they're just and finally somebody just steps up. Your new governor, Kotek, says this is never going to happen. What's your final, like, what's your line in the sand? What are you guys going to do if that kind of comes up?
It's odd that you're talking about it. Every Monday we have our leadership meeting on Zoom, and that was a question that came up today. The option is sitting out there, taking it to the people directly. It doesn't have to go through the legislature. It can go side. Just Measure 114, one of the most drastic gun laws that was passed in Oregon by the people of Portland, figuring, oh, wow, we're going to ban guns so we don't have any more shootings taking place in Portland. Not enforcing the laws. We'll just ban the guns. Okay, they got it passed. It didn't go through the legislature. It went to a vote of the people. That
so it got put on
always sitting out.
Like put it on the ballot, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
put it on the ballot.
Can you guys not own guns? I mean, you can't have. I mean, you obviously live in a rural area where you're hunting and stuff. You can't have hunting rifles. You can't have pistols and stuff where you live.
No, this is a gun issue basically aimed at AR-15s and handguns. Do you realize that one of Eastern Oregon's counties, Harney County, is the largest county in the state, and it is larger than 5 U.S. states, and yet it only has like 4,000 people, 2 sheriffs on duty at a time to cover that whole area, and yet they're going to say, no, you got to lock your guns up. You can't carry your guns. You can't do this. You can't buy guns and stuff. How are we supposed to protect ourselves?
Are there a lot of murder? I mean, are people just kind of randomly going around to the different places, like killing each other? I mean, I feel like
you're just in the middle of nowhere.
Like if I'm doing a crime, I'm going to go someplace where there's lots of people. I'm not going to go. I mean, AR-15s. That kind of seems extreme. You mean? Couldn't you guys just do your thing? I mean, if you see somebody you don't recognize, I mean, it seems like it's very wide open. Is there a high amount of crime where you're at that you need a lot of guns?
Yeah, but where you've got the crime is Oregon has relaxed their drug laws, allowing hard drugs, allowing mushrooms, allowing recreational marijuana, all of these taking place. And where are the people going to get the money to pay for this? We have a homeless problem in Oregon, just up and down the West Coast. It's crazy, like New York. Well, these people, they go break into houses. They go break into equipment. They go stealing stuff. And I'm not saying that this happens all the time around Eastern Oregon, or Central Oregon, it is pretty safe. But don't tie our hands behind our back, because one of the things that we're proud of is our self-sufficiency. We don't need the government to do everything for us. We can take care of ourselves.
Yeah,
Just let us.
I like the concept of that. Okay, Mike, we gotta let you go, but here's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I you know what? I'm excited to see where this goes and how something like this can work, because, like I said, I think Teddy's right. New York is that kind of thing where most of New York State is very rural. And they just have New York State, which is their thing. I mean, Illinois, there's a lot of places where whatever you're doing, I'll bet you that you're going to have people kind of following your lead and kind of, setting that up and seeing where it goes. And I mean, we drew these states up, 100, 200 years ago. And is it that crazy that we could change them up? I mean,
nothing's set in stone.
No,
I mean, just because you make a state doesn't mean it has to be this way forever. I mean, it might last for another 25, 50, 100 years, but I mean, things change all the time.
Right. I like that. I mean, I like that. I like that idea in the position of, put it on the ballot. Let the people decide. Put it to a vote. Yeah. And if it doesn't pass the first time, the next election, put it on the ballot again. Campaign and grassroots. I think that's a great way to go about it.
And just don't elect the people who are blocking your, blocking.
Well, that's obviously not working because of the percentages.
Because of the percentage. Yeah. Well, that's what the whole electoral college is about.
Yeah. So Mike, we wish you all the best, and we're going to follow this up and see where this goes. I'm really excited to see what happens.
Me too.
Yeah, just drive everybody to greateridaho.org. And if they want to help out, they want to see what's going on, join Team Idaho, Team Greater Idaho. And one of the things they get when they join is I send them a 3 by 5 foot Idaho flag.
Oh,
and
nice.
Pretty soon you're going to see Idaho flags. Okay, the concept is similar to the Confederate flag. Okay, you're going to see a Idaho flag in your state, and what are you going to think of? You're going to think of the battle that's going on on the border in Oregon.
I love it. Mike, thanks so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Good luck with everything, and we'll stay in touch and see how it goes, okay?
Thank you.
Do so.
All right,
so.
All right,
Thanks,
Mike. Thanks, Mike. Take care. Wow, that is an interesting concept.
It is.
You know what I forgot to ask? Like how much of Oregon, the state of Oregon, do they actually want to take for Idaho? Like how much? Like
it's about 62%.
Yeah.
So like half the state, or just like
it's about
30%?
half the state. Okay, he is gone. What the fuck? Did he just compare Idaho's flag to the Confederate flag? What the what just happened?
I think it was just
there?
I think it was the concept of the whole. Well, I mean,
like how recognizable it is.
No, I'm just saying I would know the Idaho flag if I saw it.
I got a little freaked out right there. I didn't know what to say, man.
No, but I think the whole concept, what he's really trying to say is that like when the South, when I think South Carolina tried to succeed from the rest of the country. Remember, Jefferson Davis was the president of the South.
I don't know if we're going to use that as your.
And we're going to have our own little world. And that's when they said, and the United States said, yeah, that's not going to happen. And then that is definitely part of why the Civil War started, because some states says we're going to do our own thing and we're not going to follow
slavery.
the rest of the country's rules.
I mean, it was more than. I mean, the Civil War was more than slavery.
But I'm saying, that was part of it. But Jefferson Davis was the president.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Abraham Lincoln was the president.
That part just really.
Then there was like another
out.
president, just like Joe Biden and was going to be co-president with Donald Trump.
Oh my God! Yeah, I think we talked about that.
That's another story.
Teddy and I sat at a bar. We sat at a bar in Arizona right after the election, after Trump lost. And a guy,
a normal looking guy who was very well spoken,
with all the conviction of the world, told us that Trump, there'd be two desks. There'd be two desks.
There's one desk with a partition
in the middle, and they would be co-presidents.
I said, is it plexiglass?
Yeah.
Where's it?
He was absolutely
bulletproof glass.
Wow, that's just a really that's a weird concept. But I told you all those things I talked about. Listen, would California be better if it was 6 smaller states?
California is really big.
It's almost too big to.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's long and huge. Thanks, Ted. Yeah, I know where you're going. But yeah, I mean, would it work?
Is California, Texas bigger?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but they don't seem to have that. I think there's a little bit different divide as far as things go. I think Texas is probably a little bit more homogenous as far as concepts and feelings.
But I mean, but California. I mean, like
California is very different.
I mean, like L.A. is like nothing like Northern California. I mean, it's a completely different world. So it's like Illinois. Like outside of Chicago, Cook County, Illinois is a completely different world. Like if you just saw Chicago, you wouldn't even know where you were.
If you go south of Kankakee.
Yeah, I mean, not even
you
south.
go 60, 70 miles.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's complete
60,
farmland.
60 miles south of Chicago.
Decatur.
It's a whole new
They want
Cal-
nothing.
yeah,
They want
it's
nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
They
See,
don't
that's
have
what I'm
the same.
saying. Why do you have to move out of this? Why do you have to move out of the state?
Because they're not getting
what I'm saying is-
represented. They're the things that they want. They don't have the votes to get.
What is affecting them out in rural Oregon?
People smoking fentanyl.
But they're not
Well,
smoking it there. They're smoking it on the West Coast.
Technically, if you smoke
If they're
fentanyl,
not smoking on the East
you'd
Coast,
be
it's not an issue.
Right.
Are you sure
and
it's
there's
the
not the
issues
crime.
Wait, are we sure it's fentanyl they're
if the
smoking?
issues on the West Coast
Are we sure
aren't
it's fentanyl?
affecting.
Because fentanyl, I heard, is like pretty lethal. I mean, I don't think you want to be. I don't think fentanyl's your first choice.
I think maybe they it goes to the kind of that extreme thing, where
I know, for example,
where- well,
California,
he said-
you can legally grow mushrooms now, right? That's what I
Yeah.
heard. Like in California, you can legally grow.
they have a lot of
mushrooms.
legalized. So
Like
they
a
legalized
hallucinogenic.
a lot of drugs
Yeah.
in Oregon.
Well, treat it like Amsterdam, right? You got the shooting gallery in the park, so the government controls it. You got the junkies who go to the park or like a designated area, and under government control, you can take heroin, cocaine, whatever it is.
That's how
and
San Francisco is now.
yeah,
Yeah,
but it's a controlled environment.
I think even listen. I know there's some extremes that he talked about, like with the guns. They can still have plenty of guns, so it's not that big of a deal, and it's not like the crime is getting down there. But I mean, I know there's an argument for giving drug addicts needles so they don't OD, but I mean,
So they don't get diseases.
don't get diseases.
Or they don't
Right.
commit crime, right? I mean, so you give them what they want, basically, and so they're satiated, and they won't go out and steal. They won't break into a car or break into someone's house to get the $10 fix or like steal your $200 something out of your house and sell it for $10 at a pawn shop so they can get.
Wait, I can go to a pawn shop and get $200 things for $10? Oh, wait a minute.
No, you're gonna get
Wait,
$10
is
from a
Mike-
pawn shop.
is-
Yeah.
What if Mike and his buddies just packed the guns, went to Portland, bought some of this stuff they can get for $10, and because part of the deal is economically they make less money in that area. He's right.
Yeah, of
They're-
course.
Portland
yeah,
in that
yeah,
area,
I'm sure,
it's
yeah.
a much higher average income, and
Well,
that's part of the
it's
thing.
it's super expensive over there. Portland's
So
expensive.
he could go there, go to pawn shops. They could basically bankrupt Portland and really kind of turn their town into what they want. I mean, I don't know how a pawn shop works. I honestly, I've never been to one in my entire life.
I've been to a pawn shop.
You could sell it or you could pawn it.
What does that mean? How do you pawn something?
Pawning was when you take it in there, and you they hold it for 30 days, and they give you the money up front, and after 30 days, if you don't come in and
repay them,
then they keep
so let's
it.
just say this
Oh
mug's
my
worth.
God!
So
What
say,
a scam!
So this
Holy
mug.
shit!
So,
Does anybody ever come back?
Well, no, you have the choice. You could just sell it to them outright and walk away.
well, Vegas is full of pawn shops. Yeah. So for
Yeah,
example, I sold
right.
this mug's worth
People pawn
$20.
stuff all the time.
Yeah.
It's like an advance on
Yeah,
something.
this mug's worth $20. I
Yeah,
go to
but
the pawn
how do
shop.
you ever? If you're getting rid of a $200 stereo and they give you say $50 for it?
No, well, here's how it works. You go in there and say, I got a $200 stereo. All right, what do you want to do? Sell it or pawn it? I want to pawn it. All right, I'll give you $100. Come back in 30 days with 150, or I keep it.
What are you gonna get? What are you gonna just pawn the next thing to get the 150 to get your
People
stereo
do that
back?
all the time.
What
It's
are
a
you-
huge thing. I mean,
Where are you
that's
getting the money from?
who?
If you're so desperate that you have to pawn something,
Slot machine.
Oh, well, some people like next paycheck or whatever.
Yeah,
They'll
it's
come back. I mean, it's like an
payday-
advance.
It's almost
It's
like
an
like a
advance.
payday loan advance, like in
It's
a,
just
in
you're giving them
you
collateral
know,
for the money, then you pay them
kind of a roundabout
are
way.
you fucking with me? Is that really how a pawn shop works?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You ever see Pawn
Oh my
Stars or
God,
Pawn
what-
Wars?
that
What a
shows
scam!
they just sell it.
Well, I mean, it preys on, it's like the lottery. It preys on a poor segment of the population. Yeah, so like if this
What,
mug's worth.
all you talk about is how much money we spend on the lottery and that we're going to win.
Well, that's different. We are going to win. I mean, I'm talking about
okay.
them, not us. Okay. So-
That I just okay. All right, I don't understand. But okay, here you want to talk drugs?
Yes.
Okay, they found a bag of cocaine in the White House.
yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, they found a bag of cocaine.
Whose was it?
Wait, well, I heard about this, but I didn't read the story. I didn't read into it. It was literally like a bag, like a Target bag of cocaine, or
A Target bag.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're saying a bag of Coke. What is
So
a
it was
bag
about
of
17, 18 pounds.
So-
No, I don't know.
so-
That's a
They
kilo.
found some coke.
So Hunter
Right.
Biden must have had a sleepover that night, right? Is that what okay.
So of course that's what everybody did. And now Lauren Boebert, she jumped out on this, and I couldn't tell if she was being like kind of like being like a going after Hunter Biden thing, or if she might be smarter than she looks.
Has Hunter
or
Biden been in the White
talks,
House?
They said that there was a Biden family party just before they found that. It's bullshit. But so Lauren Boebert said she wants everybody to be drug tested. So we can have an idea. Like if you have Coke in your system, that could be your Coke. And I was thinking, well, that's crazy. They're never going to do that. But now, hold on a second. What if it's her Coke? Now, let me just say this. Now, she jumps out ahead and says everybody should be drug tested. Now, she says it, so it makes it look like she wouldn't say that if she knew she was going to be tested.
Drug tested for what? Cocaine?
Yes.
It's out of your system in 2 days.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long does it stay in your system?
Pawn shop drug dealer.
Right?
What are you
How long
talking
does Coke
about?
stay in your system?
I have no idea. We'll have
What?
to Google that. We'll have to Google that.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
not like weed. Like you can't like
Well, but-
take
well,
hair
well, no, but-
follicles.
no, by the
like
time-
Coke and heroin, those types of drugs
Yeah.
don't show up like.
No, by the time they talk about it and actually do the drug testing, whoever took it, assuming whoever's guilty, it'll be out of their system. It'll be long out of their system.
That's
anyway.
what I think. I
Yeah.
mean, like there are certain drugs that stay, like in your hair follicles. They could test back like months or something like that. But I don't think Coke's one of those drugs.
What's the drug that you only detect it through a
Oh, yeah,
spinal
it's
tap?
2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
can detect
for
it through a-
cocaine. Yeah, so she's a
See?
moron.
No, she's not. She got out ahead. She made it sound like it wasn't her Coke. She probably knows it's her Coke, and she's just like, "Hey, let's test everybody." And then she's just like, "Lauren, what are you doing? We were doing like 10 lines yesterday. That was your Coke." And she's just like, "It's out of my system in 2 or 3 days, man. I'm a genius."
Hey, I'm
So she
bumping 2 days later,
She,
man.
she gaslighted. She gaslighted everybody to make it a little diversion.
Yeah, I blamed Hunter Biden, and man, it was me. Yeah, so I don't
Her
know, man. I
nickname
just
around
felt
the
like,
restaurant
so
was
it-
8-Ball.
When it all goes bad, just blame Hunter
At
Biden.
Shooters, right? Wasn't it a restaurant, Ted? Shooters? That
shooters,
she had?
but that wasn't pool. That was actual guns.
Guns, yeah, no.
'cause
her bar was named
Well,
Shooters. It's gone now.
Well,
though,
isn't there a
right?
bar in like every state? There's got to be some local bar restaurant called Shooters in every state, right? Chasers, Shooters.
Chasers is. I mean, that doesn't imply you're doing coke.
Well, you're chasing. You could be chasing.
Oh, you were chasing the. What do they call chasing the dragon? What do they call doing heroin? Chase LSD, chasing the dragon.
White horse.
What?
Shooting a horse. Riding a horse.
What?
Well, actually, no. Like if you take PCP, the term is getting wet. Like if I said, "Hey, did you get wet?" That means you took PCP. Yeah.
Ted,
Don't get wet.
You know that because you watched a movie?
Did you get wet?
Oh, Ted, please tell me you know that because you watched a movie.
All right, I got a song.
No, you save it for
Oh,
tomorrow.
all right.
Yeah, okay, yeah. For Ted's tip.
You can't just.
How to do?
You can't just randomly come up with a song.
I got a song now.
All right. So let me ask you this.
Cocaine. Ted don't lie. Ted don't lie.
Ted don't lie.
Cocaine.
You got to turn that Ted's tips.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you know what? I'll look through. We don't have a tip for tomorrow because we're doing it right away. Doing another show because we're not going to do one next week. I'll see if there's anybody has any tips, any drug tips.
All right.
Yeah, they just want to know some information about drugs. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, you guys like pizza?
Love
We all
pizza.
love pizza, obviously.
Do you love free pizza?
Do you love puppies and
Do not
4th
like
of July?
free pizza. Do not like
Oh,
free
okay, all
pizza.
right, no, same thing.
I mean, you know what? I'm 4th of July'd out.
I mean, just the concept. I'm not saying you're gonna love it. I mean, I don't like holding fireworks in my hands where I end up in the ER that night. So like,
Yeah,
so-
but you guys like pizza?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. A guy in Florida is in a restaurant. They're giving away free pizza. Okay. And there's a bunch of people in line in this free pizza line. Okay. And the guy walks in, and these people have clearly gotten their free pizza and are back in line to get more free pizza. Which the store is.
Was that legal? Was that they could do that, or is
could do
there only one per person?
No, they could do that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And this guy saw that these people were in line for their second free pizza, and he hadn't gotten.
Get his first one yet.
He didn't get his first free
Okay,
pizza.
Yeah.
So let's say you guys are in that situation.
Yeah.
Okay. You want your free pizza. Maybe you're afraid it's going to run out. There's maybe 10 people you saw. You walked in. They got pizza sauce all over their hands. They get right back in line in front of you, and you're at the end of the line.
Yeah.
Maybe you look over and you're like, "There's only
Well, it's like a buffet. Yeah. There's
Maybe.
a finite amount of pizza.
always a finite amount of free pizza."
Yeah.
What do you do?
Me,
What do you do personally?
I just mumble and blah, 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 blah.
Just shoot up the place and problem solved, right?
Yeah.
I'm not. I wouldn't do that.
You would not go out to your car.
I'm not saying I would.
You would not go out to your car.
I'm guessing he did though, because that's why we're talking about it.
Grab your machine gun that's on the passenger seat of your car.
I'm going to show them.
Yeah, and walk in and tell everybody it's your turn for free pizza,
All right.
and threaten to kill all of them.
That would
if
get
you
my attention.
Don't
That would get my attention.
get your free
Yeah.
pizza. So let's say all right.
Pizza.
Let's turn it
Pizza,
around.
pizza.
Let's turn it around. You're in line. Say the three of us are in line.
So he
and
did that?
We're getting our second round of free pizza, and the guy gets he starts mumbling like Mark would always do. Mark's an angry guy, right? And then Mark or a person, not Mark, we'll call him Bark.
Yeah, Bark.
Goes out to his car, gets his machine gun, comes back in, and has his machine gun and says, I'm going to kill everybody in here if I don't get my free pizza.
I'd be like, I'm not that hungry. Go right ahead. You're just over right in front of me. So
you want me to get you a couple? We could get him pizzas?
I'm like, I was just going to get that piece for you, actually. It wasn't even for me.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine being in a pizza place, getting some pizza, and a guy just walks in with a machine gun and threatens to kill everybody?
Did he get the pizza? That's all I want to know. Did somebody give him the pizza before he got arrested?
And I hope everybody gave him the pizza. Okay. I hope the people in the back gave him free coupons for pizza. Right. He's not going to be able to use them.
Yeah. Well, because in prison, in jail, they only serve bologna sandwiches. I don't think they give pizza. So I don't know. So.
It better be free bologna sandwiches, and everybody better give them their goddamn bologna sandwiches.
So here's a true story. So I guess chimpanzees. I like talking about this. So chimpanzees, I guess, are very jealous. They're very jealous. So I guess there was a case where a guy. No, there was a guy. There was something like nature preserve. There was a bunch of chimpanzees. So it was the chimpanzee's birthday. So
shut up.
Listen,
you're telling me that not only are they jealous,
I want to know where this is going.
Listen, yeah. So the guy brought a birthday cake with a candle on it for the chimpanzee's birthday, and the chimpanzee was grateful, but he didn't give any cake to the other chimpanzees. And they didn't like that at all. So what happened was
they all got machine guns.
What happened was they remembered that, and then I think there was a case where they eventually got out of their enclosure and ripped the guy's face off because they didn't get their cake.
Oh, they went after him?
They went after him
because he gave the
cake. He gave the one chimpanzee the cake, and they didn't get their cake.
So
he's like a chimpanzee.
Conspired and went after him.
So later.
Yeah, later.
Way
after
later.
This. Way
later. Many months? Many days?
They checked the box. They checked it off in their head. They said, yeah.
So the person who wrote this story up and you believe that the reason those chimps killed that guy
was over
they didn't kill him. They just maimed him.
They maimed him. Wasn't because they were stuck in a cage and he was probably doing unspeakable sexual things to them.
Right.
It was because they didn't get cake like 3 months earlier.
They didn't get a birthday cake.
They never recognized their birth. He never recognized their birthday.
They didn't get a birthday cake. That's exactly what happened.
So there is somebody out there who honestly believes that that's what happened.
So this guy is like the human version of the chimp. He didn't get his pizza.
Text talk.
And then people got their pizza. Yeah. So that's the first thing I ever thought about. Yeah.
Oh my God! Wait, that might be the most insane thing you've ever said.
Remember we were in school, and you're chewing gum, and the teacher always said this. This is like the classic line. Did you bring enough for everybody? Well, you know what? You should have. so there was a point to that conversation.
Don't be Spicoli. Remember, he didn't get any of his pizza.
You know what I always
shared
said
it with
that?
the whole class.
Yeah. You know what I always said to that? I said, yeah. I always said, yeah.
Yes.
Anytime a teacher said that, did you bring enough for everybody? Like if you got caught picking your nose and eating your boogers, and you're like, you bring enough for everybody? Yeah, there's enough in there. Go ahead.
Eating your boogers?
What? No, I didn't say that.
Just picking them.
I meant no, not me. The guy who
a friend.
did that.
Not Matt, but Stat. The guy who sat next to Matt.
Yeah. I love these. You are like the chimpanzee aficionado.
Just bring enough for everybody. There's
birthday cake,
there's enough
boogers,
enough goods and services for everybody to go around. There's enough goods and services.
I find that so difficult to believe.
I just want to know if he got his pizza. That's all. Before he got arrested, did he
get? He probably didn't get arrested.
Oh hell yeah, he got
in
arrested.
Florida.
Yeah, he got arrested. Yeah. He's actually from Ecuador, and he's going to be deported.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is. He's going to. Do they have pizza in Ecuador? Oh my God, how angry is he going to be now? You can get a machine gun way easier in Ecuador, right? It has to be easier to get.
I think the crime rate there. I think
they hand it to you when you cross the border.
I was reading about like the
104%.
Here's cocaine and here's some gun.
I was reading a story about like the top
no pizza.
The most dangerous cities to live in the world, and obviously most of them were in South America and Mexico, and Ecuador is obviously part of South America. Or is Ecuador Central America? Yeah, so that's like Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Ecuador.
Yeah, I think in that list was like Mozambique,
Belize,
and
South Sudan.
Yeah. There's some super dangerous places. All right, Teddy, you were not sitting at the bar when Mark told his egging story. Is that correct?
I don't recall that, so I guess
you
I
were
wasn't
not there. Mark, do you remember your awesome egg story?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mark told a story about
to who?
To the guys that we were sitting in the bar.
Just some random guys? Okay.
Yeah, random guys. What happens is Mark and I go when you're not there, Ted, we just go sit down at a table.
Those guys look friendly.
And you meet strange men?
Yeah. And then Mark tells a story.
Like somebody's mother-in-law?
Usually the egg story.
Like somebody's mother-in-law does?
I always have an icebreaker.
Yeah. And then we get drunk and tell how we go to swinger parties.
Right.
Yeah. It's like and you go, are the chicks hot? And you go,
Whoa.
Women? There's women there? There's supposed to be women at a swingers party?
Did you say dicks or chicks?
Oh, super. Yeah.
Chicks with
so,
dicks.
So as I'm looking at I was listening to Mark's awesome story, and some people got blamed for something that they didn't do, right?
Yeah.
I felt bad.
It's all about assigning blame.
I felt
you know,
bad
it's
for
okay.
them, that they got blamed for that. And then I ran across another egg story. This is national news.
What's an egg story? What's
It
the
has to
egg
do with
story?
egging.
Yeah.
Egging. Because Mark's son got blamed for egging someone's house, and he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Is that like that's the high school thing where like you
Yes.
like TP or you toilet paper somebody's
it's
house or egg
exactly-
somebody's
And you
house?
throw an egg at someone's house.
Okay, yeah.
Or
so,
multiple eggs.
So it's pretty. So it's
Yeah.
it's really harmless. It's just more
It's
like
not. It's not. And I'm going to tell you why it's not.
harmful.
I'm going to tell you why it's not harmless. I told you this, Matt. You don't understand how hard it is to get egg off the siding of your house the next day.
Actually, I've never my house.
I have
has
a
never
brick
been
house.
egged.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
Okay,
It's impossible.
it's hard. Yeah.
It's not. It just doesn't come off.
Okay.
So why, when I eat eggs, do I poop them? Wouldn't it stay in my body forever?
I'm talking about the eggshell like smattered on siding, and it's like
Did you leave
two
it for, like,
stories up?
multiple
Supposed to
weeks?
get? How am I supposed to? How am I going to get up there?
You borrow a power washer from somebody.
Yeah, power
Don't you have
washer
like?
shooting.
Here, I'll tell you, easy way to do it: start a small fire
We
on
tried
the
with our
second floor.
hose
The firemen would go up there and do their fire hose thing, and it would get it off.
So
This is why I don't ask you.
So
for
what's the egg story?
I have
advice.
excellent advice.
What's the
Start
what's
the house on
What's the
fire.
egg story?
No,
You mind me asking?
No, we're
Short
not gonna-
version.
okay.
Short version is his son got blamed for throwing eggs at someone's house, and he didn't do it.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
All right. Gotcha.
Somebody retaliated.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, they didn't throw eggs.
Ooh.
No, they threw eggs.
Oh.
They weren't chimps. They weren't throwing their species.
Oh, I thought they threw birthday cake. I didn't. I completely misunderstood.
Were those cage-free
I don't
eggs
know.
that were thrown?
It was a long Ted. Honestly, it was a long story, and I kind of tuned out.
Yeah.
So I honestly thought that they tried to burn your house down.
No,
that wasn't.
Can you name like the most common eggs eaten in this country? Animal eggs.
I don't know.
Scrambled?
No. Different animal eggs.
I don't know.
What?
I mean, chicken egg. Right, chicken-related eggs. Right?
Are you
I
saying
mean,
that there's an egg more commonly eaten than a chicken egg?
No.
Okay, then chicken.
So name
egg.
some animal eggs that we eat.
Ostrich,
Ostrich is one.
Ooh.
lion.
Well,
I was going to say that.
Chicken.
platypus. No,
Ostrich.
I don't know.
Aren't there still platypuses?
Yeah.
Do they lay eggs?
Yeah, they're
Aren't
not
they
here,
the
though.
only marsupial that actually lays eggs? They're like the only mammal that
They're not a marsupial.
No, there's
they're a
one.
mammal.
There's one mammal that lays eggs. I think it's the
Don't
platypus.
snakes lay eggs?
platypus. They're reptiles.
Snakes lay eggs. Snakes
Yeah,
lay eggs.
I would love to eat a snake egg.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You know what we should do? We should open up a store, a restaurant.
Quail eggs.
I know,
that's pretty common.
somebody who has about 40 snake eggs right now.
Okay.
He was just at my house yesterday.
Are you going to take him to a plane and have some?
No, he
have a
breeds-
nice Samuel L.
he
Jackson
breeds
moment.
snakes. He breeds snakes.
What?
He breeds snakes.
That's not illegal.
No, God no.
But why?
It's very common. Ball pythons. They're fucking awesome. They're beautiful.
What?
Yeah, I swear to God,
Pythons are. You can just. That seems like a super dangerous snake. I mean, don't they
ball
get like
pythons
15
are
feet
not,
long?
No, ball pythons don't get that big. Like a Burmese python does, or a red-toed boa does. But no, ball pythons don't get that big.
Like, how big is a ball python?
They
That just
probably get like in captivity. Like a ball python might get to be, I don't know, like 4 feet, maybe 5 feet.
What's the sense of having a little tiny snake? Don't you want a big snake to scare the shit out of people?
Yeah, they're beautiful though. Anyway,
Okay. All right. Well,
we
whatever.
don't eat those eggs. We'll just move on to your story.
No, but I'm saying, wouldn't it be cool to open up a restaurant where you eat the eggs of different animals? That's it. That's what they like eggs, and you can
Like
have eggs and
etc. Call it etc.
Oh, I'm surprised there's not a restaurant like that right now. That's actually an interesting concept.
Not with different.
Okay.
So what? So
We don't
you got
need to win the lottery.
So we got ostrich eggs, platypus eggs, chicken eggs,
No chicken eggs.
quail eggs. Yep, duck
Quail.
eggs,
We're not going to do this.
Duck.
We're not going to do this.
fish eggs.
No, that's caviar.
Yeah, that's an egg.
Yeah, but we're not doing this. Okay, so I have an egging story.
Rabbit eggs.
Rabbit eggs.
Only on Easter though.
What the? Okay, so I have an egging story. Please, some teenagers, 18, 19 years old, so they're older teenagers.
They're called adults.
So
They're called adults.
there was
19 years old.
or as we call them now, shitbags. No, shit, no. So they are
Freeloaders.
There's a
Yeah,
little
freeloaders.
bit. Yeah.
Get a job.
Freeloaders.
What are you learning in college, you little punk? All right. There's a little lovers quarrel, and these three teenagers drove to this kid's house and egged his house.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
End of story.
All right.
No, not end of story. Okay, so it seems pretty benign. The kid comes outside and he wants to know what's happening.
Yeah.
And one of the kids makes a tiny little mistake. One of the eggers
Okay.
One of the little 3-egging bastards makes a little mistake. And instead of the kid's right there. So instead of taking an egg and throwing it at the kid, to hit the kid, he's right there. The kid you want to hit, he accidentally pulled out his Glock and shot him to death.
No eggs in the gun, bullets.
No eggs in the gun.
It wasn't an egg gun.
It was not an egg gun. It was a regular gun. So you know how you just in a spur of the moment you're like, grab one last egg, and you reach down. There's no egg. So you just what do you do?
So was this kid like dating one of the egger's girlfriend or something?
Yeah,
silly shit like that.
There was some girl thing, and this guy maybe stealing. They didn't say exactly what it was, but stole a girlfriend or some crap like that. Yeah. And so the egging literally turned into a murder.
Okay, all right. And what's his defense? I thought the gun was an egg.
What the fuck?
You want to talk about having egg on your face? I thought it was an egg.
But how weird is that? I mean, I've gone. I was egging when I was a kid, and we weren't.
We used to egg CTA buses.
We were in like 7th and 8th grade when we did that stuff. But I mean, think about
Never
that. The
did
kid
that in
comes
high
out.
school.
The kid comes out. Right. I mean, that's kind of juvenile, right? I mean, wouldn't you just bang the guy's girlfriend to get back at him? I mean, that's how you got back at people,
Whoa.
right?
Sexual vengeance.
What? That's yeah.
That wasn't even my band in high school.
Oh, I thought it was.
I love them.
Yeah.
I thought it was revenge porn. That was your band's name.
No.
But yeah, I mean, and then
that was our nemesis band.
That was your arch rival.
That was our
And then you know what? They were not a band anymore because he shot him to death. Sorry, egging him. Yeah. But how weird is
we
that?
didn't have guns back then. We just had pet chimps.
Just released
Slingshots.
We had chimp pump bodyguards.
Roger, release the chimps. How long has it been since they've had birthday cake? 2 years.
Oh, they would take the chimp before they let him out. That's the guy that had the birthday cake.
You know they have birthday cake ice cream. You could
That's
just
the baker right there.
You could have just got the birthday cake ice cream for their chimps, and this never would have happened. That's all I'm saying. You know, I mean,
love that you think that these chimps
That's
did
the
this
reason.
as cake.
You know how they
yeah.
know? They found evidence, Matt.
they remember shit.
What did they
conspiring,
grill the grill the chimps?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, okay, that'd be. Ooh, what about chimp? What do you think chimp
chimp
tastes
eggs?
like? No, what do you think that tastes like?
I'm sure you're not the first
They're,
person.
pro-
to
they're
ask
probably
that
wondering
question.
they're probably wondering what you taste like.
Yeah, it tastes like human.
You know what it tastes like? A guy who's had lots of birthday cake. Screw you, chimps. Yeah, in your face. All right. So I'm really freaked out.
Do you know
by
what
the fact
state
that,
this was in? That they're the egging and the gunning.
Oh man, it was some rural state.
Well, that's
some
sad.
hillbilly state.
That's sad.
Well, it's kind of crazy,
So
right?
they-
I mean, you
so-
went from egging to murder.
So I'm assuming all three of them got charged with a crime.
Two of them are going to the I don't know, the shooter and the driver are straight up going to go to prison
Yeah,
Of course.
for straight up murder.
yeah.
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 That's what it's
You know,
called.
what I always. I mean, it's not funny, but the thing I always laughed about is like, so somebody. Okay, like here's the thing. So let's just say somebody always does. You know, someone commits like a bad crime over something very trivial, right? I mean, someone cut you off in traffic. Someone's dating your girlfriend. I mean, just anything. It's not life or death, but you know, because people cannot control their emotions, they get really angry and they go too far, and then someone ends up dead. And so the person, it's funny. So the thing you covet the most is now taken away for the rest of your life, because once you're in prison, you're not doing any of that. I mean, your life is over. I mean, you're alive, but you might as well be dead, right? I mean, because you're going to spend decades in prison with hardened criminals around you, and you're not going to ever drive a car. You're not going to have – you'll have a girlfriend, all right, but it's not going to be a woman. It's not going to be a girl. So the funny thing, the thing that you got jealous of and covet the most is gone. So that's the ironic thing. So the funny thing is you've done this extreme thing to recapture what you think you deserve, and now you get none of it.
So you lose your gun and you gain a shank. They have prison shanks.
Yeah, and there's no
right?
guns, and there's no guns in prison.
just
so
prison shanks.
No?
That guy that
What
doctor
about-
that just
that's
Escape
molested
from
those-
New York.
Oh, that Larry Nassar guy, the
Yeah, he
guy
just
who
got shanked in
who
prison.
sexually assaulted all those Olympic athletes.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a real weird looking dude.
You know what? Doesn't it seem like it took way too long for him to be shanked?
Here's yeah, exactly. But here's the funny
Should have been pre-prison shanked.
You know who hasn't been
post-prison-
shanked yet?
Who?
Jared from Subway.
He hasn't been shanked yet?
No,
Let's
not
shank
that
him.
we haven't heard about
that guy
it.
is very shankable. He is very shankable.
I listen, I watched that.
I mean, I want to shank the guy. I'm
I
not even
saw
in
the,
there.
The one on Jared.
yeah,
Yeah.
I watched that.
Dude, that was creepy.
I mean, he's talking to this chick. If
Yeah.
you haven't seen this, it's really
Yeah,
wild.
he
he's literally talking to a woman who's got a kid.
Yeah.
And so he's saying to the kid, "Oh man, your kid is so hot." And he's not even buying that this woman is like setting him up, but she's going, "Oh yeah, what do you think's the hottest part of my teenage kid?"
And he has kids at this point.
Wait, he's got no.
Jared, yes, he did.
Yeah,
he got married and had
he's
kids.
married. I'm sorry, he's married. He has like I think like 2 kids. You know, 'cause
He
he's
ain't married
already
anymore.
successful. He's already successful with Subway.
Wait,
you know.
he had kids.
Yes, he
Yeah.
got married and had kids.
Yeah.
He has 2 kids.
Before he got busted for
They didn't marry him. He was fat. He was so gross.
No, but the point is, he I mean, he was
Of course
doing
not,
he was doing
dude.
very well. You know, he was a Subway spokesperson for years.
Yeah.
He was obviously getting paid huge sums of money. He had a wife and 2 kids, and that was right before he got busted for having sex with like underage.
Wow, I didn't know he was
Kids.
married and had kids.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't really pay. It was so gross.
They
It's
didn't
hard
talk
to pay
about
attention.
that in the program you saw.
Oh, okay.
So here's the funny thing. So I read that story today about the Larry Nassar guy. You know, who's like a really wimpy looking dude. You know, I mean, obviously nobody could stop him for all this time. He was like, allegedly sexually
That's
assaulting.
an indictment on the parents.
Yeah, but here's
That's an
the
indictment.
funny thing. So they said that the whatever the spokesperson said, oh, he got stabbed multiple times, but luckily he survived. I'm like, really? Is it really
That
lucky?
was the lucky
it's,
part?
It's really lucky he lived, so he can get stabbed again. I mean, actually, it would be a blessing if they killed him, right? Because I mean, his life's not going to
Ted,
get better, right?
That was sarcasm, Ted.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but they said that really.
The article is sarcasm.
Wouldn't that be great?
No, they said
That would be
they
fun.
said, oh, they're lucky he survived. I'm like, no, it's not. It's actually sucks he
Are
survived.
you sure? Are you sure they didn't go? It's so lucky he survived.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story about Mount Sinai Hospital? They have like the best. This is kind of a bad story to tell, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
Okay.
A really, really bad human being was wanted by the police, and he was shot. So the police responded to this call that the guy they'd been looking for like 2 months had been shot, and he'd been shot so bad that like he was shot at point blank range in the head, and like his brains were splattered on the wall. And so the police went to this Mount Sinai Hospital, where they specialize like in gun trauma and all that. These surgeons are amazing. So they're in there. Detectives go to the hospital and they're waiting, and the guy's in surgery for like 6 hours.
Wait, they wasted surgeons fixing a terrible person?
The guy he's a really bad person. But yeah, I mean, he got shot, so they rush him to the hospital, and they're doing surgery on him for 6 hours, and the surgeons come out like just like out of surgery with blood and stuff on him, and they come out and they're like, "Sorry guys, we did everything we could. Looks like he's gonna make it." I swear that's what the surgeons said.
Yeah.
It was like a MASH scene, They're like, they did save his life, but
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just? Oh, whoops.
Yeah, I mean,
I know you would
but
think
that happens
that's
all the time.
something
Because I think when like there was a Chicago police officer that got shot, I think a couple of years ago. So I think like the partner shot the suspect. So this asshole, of course, he lived. But the point is, like, if I was the guy, wouldn't you just slow walk that shit? Like, I'm gonna call 911, but after about like 25 minutes, so let this fucker bleed out or something. I know you
that's
can't
how
do
you lose your
can't
job,
you
Ted.
can't do
Yeah,
that. You can't do that. But I mean,
that's the
technically,
great thing about.
But here's the
honestly,
thing. So this asshole's going to be tried. He's going to be convicted because it's all on body cam. He's going to spend the rest of his life in
Yeah.
prison. He's not going to get paroled. There's no death penalty in Illinois. So I'm just saying, just let the little fucker die. Because I mean, now we have to try this fucker. He's got to talk about how his parents didn't love him when he was a kid. Blah blah blah. And where's he going to go? We're going to parole him after 10 years?
That's what's so great about our I mean, here, that's an example of how great like doctors and first responders are, right? They put all that aside and they just do what they got to do.
Well, that's their job. Yeah,
I mean, that's their job.
Yeah,
I mean,
they don't care who it is,
why
yeah.
I mean, and that's why I have like a lot of faith in doctors and first responders, because when the shit hits the fan, like you said, Ted, wouldn't you want them to do something like that? And you're like, in the back of your head, everyone's got that, playing devil's advocate. Yeah, that'd be great if they just kind of slow walked it and then the guy died. But that's not what they do.
No, that's why I'm not a doctor.
Or a police officer. I mean, they take an oath and they got to do
I'm not
do.
saying the doctors slow walk. I'm saying the police who get the
That's what I mean.
get the
Yeah,
bad
but
guy
the
to the
police-
hospital just slow
Yeah,
walk
but
and
you
getting
don't-
I
him there.
understand, but they don't think like that because
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Johnson, apparently there's some static on this on the line here. I'm gonna have to call this in
Oh,
later.
man,
I'm
did
gonna
I
have to-
just shut my phone down?
I'm gonna have to call this in later.
Yeah, get off your phone.
I think I just lost the Wi-Fi connection here.
Did
We'll
I
get back to you.
You know what? I feel like an idiot. Did I just dial 811? Sorry, buddy. Hold on.
Wait,
on.
119.
Hold on.
Wait, I dialed 119.
You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Okay,
I
so
know the dial
so here you
911.
want you know a weird you want to talk about like a weird like death penalty thing?
No.
You guys
So,
heard?
Ted, I'm sorry, were you
Now
asking or
we're
you
ignoring
telling?
you.
No. So
No,
It's a mutiny.
you guys probably saw
Russian
this.
mutiny.
Chess
No.
talk in 2 minutes, Ted.
Oh man, you guys probably saw the story that one of the chicks that was with Charles Manson is about to be paroled.
After 52
No.
years. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Patricia Krenwinkel. She's one of the Manson followers. She was in on one of the not both. It was like obviously those are world
Is she
famous
the hot
murders.
one?
Well, not
There was one
anymore.
that was
She's
hot.
72. So.
Oh yeah. You know what? I don't look at my
Like
murderers
60s
by how
hot.
hot
There's
they
one
are.
that was 60s hot, Ted.
Okay. Yeah, it was 60s
No,
hot. Yeah.
you don't look at murderers by how hot they are. You look at them by how slutty they are, right? No. And so yeah, she's
So
gonna.
she was one of the.
She's one of the Manson followers. Yeah, one of the
right.
infamous,
Right.
you know.
So here's the weird part of this, right? She's about to be paroled, but here's the backstory. As soon as she's convicted, she gets the death sentence.
Right.
So
yeah, she got
she's
the death
supposed
penalty
to die.
back in the 60s.
Right.
Oh, she was
yeah.
sentenced to death.
Sentenced to death.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's the weird part. A few years into it, California gets rid of the death penalty.
Right.
So now she gets life without parole. Okay, so she's getting
Whoa.
parole. She's got life without parole. That's what she get. No
But
chance
you
of parole.
just said she's getting out on parole, Matt.
I know. Then here's the weird part. A few years later, California puts the death penalty back in. But you can't grandfather somebody, and you can't say like they were death penaltied and now they're not. So now she can't be death penaltied. Okay, and here, you ready for this? She can't have life without parole now that there's a death
Because
penalty.
they got rid of that.
Yeah. So now she has life with parole, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah,
Because
but
if you get a
she's
life
not gonna.
sentence,
She's up for parole. She's not going to
it
get it.
looks like she's. It
Well,
looks,
she's gonna
they
get
said
granted,
she's
yeah.
the perfect.
She was up
she's
for
been
parole.
an excellent.
Well, the guy that killed Lennon was up for parole. Like, I mean, he's
yeah,
never.
but they're
getting out.
actually
Chapman,
talking about
Yeah.
But they're actually
Well,
talking
well,
about. So they said she's been an excellent
Yeah.
prison person. Yeah, very few shankings.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Keep her there.
No eggs.
Well,
Perfect environment for her. She's
paroled-
excelling.
They paroled the Reagan's assassin, that
Oh, yeah,
Hinckley.
great,
Hinckley, they paroled him.
Yeah, Hinckley.
He was in prison for like 40 years, and they paroled that guy. So
That doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go balls to the wall and try to kill a president, I mean,
Well, apparently this guy's from like a rich family. He's like, and this
Well,
guy
he did
was,
shoot Brady though.
He shot
I mean,
Brady, and it was
killed
brain
that poor
damage.
guy.
Yeah, that's why he got the
no,
Brady.
yeah.
But I remember that. I mean, that was like the last attempted assassination of a president. But
That
yeah,
we
but
know
he
of.
got paroled. But he got paroled. I
Yeah.
mean, he actually got paroled, and yeah.
so I'm looking at this Manson stuff, and here's something
Did he
I
really
didn't
get
know.
paroled? I forgot.
yeah, he got
about that.
paroled. Yeah.
Here's something I did not know. One of the Manson chicks, the Manson family, that was Squeaky Fromm.
Yeah,
and
Squeaky
he
Fromm.
actually
Yeah.
convinced her to go try and kill the president at the time.
Oh yeah, I think it was like
Oh,
was it
that's
Nick?
right,
Was
yeah.
it Nick?
Gerald Ford or
Gerald
something?
Ford. Yeah,
Ford,
yeah,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
she
guess
tried.
the,
She tried.
I guess the gun. The only
jammed.
reason he's alive is the gun jam. So I want you to think about how weird, how crazy Charles Manson was, and how charismatic he was. Because we see him, he looks like a psycho.
Well, he's dead. He
convinced-
died in prison like about 5
but
years
he
ago.
convinced
so, yeah.
these people to do all this. He actually convinced the chick to go kill the president of the United States.
Yeah.
You know they're drugs, right?
Yes, I realize.
Well,
that.
the point is, yeah. But the point is,
but I mean, no, I mean, if you give me all the drugs
So
in the
I mean,
world,
what
it's
I'm
gonna be
saying is
pretty
you're
hard
giving
to
him a lot of
convince me.
credit.
Yeah.
A lot of it was the drugs. I mean, Charles Manson, I get it, but
Ted does drugs every night.
I'm not listening
Ted,
to Charles
have you
Manson.
killed-
Stop.
Yeah, have you killed any presidents?
I'm like Charles Manson. I'm like, like this little pipsqueak. I listen to this motherfucker.
yeah. No, it just seemed really weird to
Yeah.
me.
Well, the funny thing about I mean, obviously he was a very charismatic. I mean, I'm not saying that in a positive way, of course, but yeah, I've seen the interviews of him on TV. But obviously, he's obviously
I don't think
beyond.
anyone's ever called him charismatic.
No, I mean, well, he is. I mean, to his followers,
I don't know,
Well, it's
man.
like a cult, like Jim Jones Guyana, David Koresh with Waco. He basically ran a cult, right? These people
yeah.
were. He thought it was Jesus. People thought he was Jesus Christ. Obviously he's extremely batshit crazy. But like I said, when you get impressionable young people who are looking for some leadership somewhere, this guy obviously filled a void.
Right.
Yeah, he
for
said
them
some
at
of
the
the
And there's a level of intelligence that these people have too. They're actually very intelligent.
They
and they're well spoken. Convincing.
They
and-
intuitively know
Right.
what people want to hear. Not that they're like book smart or even high IQ smart, but they just intuitively know, like the sociopath or the psychopath, what people like, what buttons to push to tug at the heartstrings, whatever they need to do.
Don't you wish it ended like what's that movie with DiCaprio, Hollywood?
Oh, that's what that movie's about.
Right, I know, but don't you
something
wish-
in Hollywood, a day in Hollywood, or
What the
whatever
fuck?
it is.
Why can't we never remember this?
Was that the Brad Pitt? Was it Brad Pitt in that
Yeah,
one?
Brad Pitt,
Yeah,
Leonardo
Brad Pitt.
DiCaprio.
I want to see that movie. Yeah.
I've thought about watching it.
Once
a
upon
million
a time
Upon
in
a
Hollywood.
Yeah, I heard of
Have you seen it?
No, so
I've
I
heard
was,
about
I was
it.
actually
Heard about it.
part of when I was looking at this Manson stuff the other day. Is that movie takes place like those two guys are like living next door?
Correct. Yeah.
To
So don't talk about it. I don't want to ruin it because it actually is an excellent film.
I want to see. I want to see the movie. So
You
I'm
haven't
gonna-
seen it either?
I haven't seen it yet.
All right, we'll go tonight. We'll go watch it tonight.
should we?
Yeah, we'll watch it tonight in my backyard.
Oh, can we do an outdoor movie?
Yeah, we'll do an outdoor one. I'll
love
put the
that.
British treasure out there. We'll do it.
You're gonna put a bed sheet on there. You're gonna hang a bed sheet.
No,
on
I
the
got a
clothesline?
screen I put out there. So all right.
Oh, that'd be so much fun. Okay,
Yeah.
so last thing before we
Mosquitoes included.
Nice.
Aw, man, you really throw a party.
Ted's gonna get a skeeter on his Peter, and you're gonna whack it off.
What?
Okay, I'm out for that.
That got
right
weird. That got
now.
weird.
Yeah. All right, last thing. You guys heard about all this stuff about in Sweden about burning the Quran?
I heard a little bit about that. Yeah.
So I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, I didn't know anything either.
And I'm like, well, I got to look this up. I'm like, I guess Muslims all around the world are like banning. They're boycotting Sweden and all this kind of stuff. I'm just like, and so I'm thinking, why would Sweden, which is they're pretty chill about everything. Why were all these people burning Korans in Sweden? So you got to look at the story.
It was cold.
It's not.
No firewood.
It's not.
Oh, they weren't.
It was one guy. He came from Iraq. He moved to Sweden. He was upset with Muslim people, went in front of a mosque, and he burned a Quran. One guy. Not even Swedish born.
That's how people talk now.
What?
Like what you just said.
Oh,
somebody
like
says like everyone, just like the guy from Oregon said. They took away all our guns. They passed a law and they took all our guns away. And you're like, wait, you can't have guns? Well, we can have guns.
Yeah, you can't have AR-15s.
You just can't have.
I can't have hand grenades.
Right. You can't have a 50 caliber.
That's what he said. Literally, right?
Yeah. Gun that's mounted on the top. That's mounted on the top of a Navy warship. You can't have one of those.
Yeah.
My
they took away my
cannon.
cannon.
Yeah. What's that gun? What's the
bazooka,
one where you
the Gatling gun? Yeah.
I can't go into Walmart with my Gatling gun
like the movie
anymore.
Alien, where he's got the gun.
How am I supposed to protect my chickens without my Gatling gun?
Yeah.
There's weasels all over.
Well,
the
that's
place.
why I had to ask him. I'm like, is there tons of crime? You need those AR-15s?
Oh, he's back on.
No, of course
He's
not.
back on.
No, he's not.
Hey, Mike.
No, he's not. But yeah, so the truth of the matter is that one guy who's not even from Sweden burned one Quran.
But they made it sound like the whole Swedish.
Right.
Yeah, that's
so
what
I had to look
that's the
it
way
up
I read it. Yeah.
Because a lot of these stories, I was like, I'm not going to look this shit up. But yeah, so it is. Now here's the funniest part about this. Turkey is a very Muslim country.
Yes.
Okay, and Sweden is trying to get into NATO. So now he stepped back on it, but last week he said that he didn't think that Sweden should be involved in NATO until they can stop the Quran burnings.
Just arrest the one guy.
Well,
done.
Well, and my thing was,
or just deport him.
My thing was this. Yeah, it was one. And number one, you couldn't stop one guy from doing anything. If you said that America would get kicked out of NATO if one person did one thing, obviously with 600 million people or whatever, I don't know how many, 350 million people, somebody's going to do that immediately. They're going to hear it and they're going to go, oh, it's like a TikTok challenge. I'm going to start burning Korans everywhere.
Well, sounds like they're just looking for an excuse not to admit Sweden into NATO.
Well, he walked back his statement because you realize
they don't know what they're talking about.
But if you looked over the last week, I mean, all over the world, the Muslim world, people are literally banning. They're boycotting Sweden because of one guy.
Because of what they heard or what they
because of what they thought they heard.
They heard. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Sweden's not too disappointed about that. It's like
well, I looked it up.
How do you boycott a country if you don't live there?
Well, and products. Yeah. So I had to look it up. Like so
I was looking. They're not drinking Heineken.
Not going to
Heineken for me.
So they're not going to go to IKEA.
So you ready?
Heineken's in Holland. Where's Holland? Holland's
gonna,
not in Sweden, but it's over there somewhere.
Oh, are we just? Oh man, that's geography racism.
Yeah, that's
right there.
It's over. I looked it up. It's in Europe somewhere.
Yeah, not going to IKEA anytime soon, Mark.
So Sweden.
What's a good beer in Sweden, Ted?
That we could drink. Lupin, Durpin.
Lupin, Durban. More for us.
Yeah. But I guess it's cars. Number one is cars, petroleum, gas, and then car parts.
Oh, clogs.
Those are the three things.
What about the Dutch? What are the wooden the clogs?
Again, you are just racistly confusing all these countries. Yes,
I'm lumping them all together.
Countries, yeah, that's not cool. You can't just lump countries
Denmark,
together.
There's Sweden. There's Netherlands. Yeah,
and then those other ones.
Other ones, yeah.
Yeah, but there's nothing that really comes from Sweden. I feel like that if you didn't have it, you wouldn't be able to do without. Yeah, Luftfist. Yeah,
Swedish meatballs.
There you go, IKEA. No, they're going to stop shopping on IKEA.
I just said that like 10 times.
Do you feel like Turkey?
Ted, did you say IKEA?
I said IKEA like 10 times.
Hold on. Do you feel like Turkey and Pakistan, which are very Muslim countries, you feel like there's a lot of IKEAs in those countries?
Well, Ted said there was.
Have you ever assembled furniture
from
IKEA?
10 times.
It's a nightmare.
He said it 10 times.
Assembling furniture from IKEA, that's like punishment. Like instead of when I was a kid, when I got in trouble as a kid in grade school.
IKEA furniture is so fucking easy to
Your
put together.
teacher made you assemble
not for me.
furniture?
No, so when I was a kid,
this is from IKEA.
So when I got in trouble,
I know it is. I have it.
I got in trouble in school. You know what I had to do? I had to write the Gettysburg Address like 10 times. Like I write it out. I turned it into.
That wasn't not written in Sweden.
I know, but the point is, The worst punishment would have been
do have
like,
a
I want
table
you to
at
assemble. I want you to assemble this couch. No.
A glurfin flirting.
Or
Glurfin flirting.
Actually,
No one can do that.
have you ever been at the food court at IKEA? That place is the worst. The food court at IKEA. That's
No.
punishment. That's punishment. Right
No,
there.
the worst place is the food court at Costco.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross. Yeah, why you would go there?
It's $1.50 hot. It's $1.50.
every
But it's always
day.
packed.
So
It's always packed.
Every day.
I hate
Pizza.
going into Costco, but I went. I had to go the other
had to.
day, like 3-4 months ago.
It's a necessary evil.
And the place is packed, right? And I hear this old man and this old lady talking.
Oh, boy.
And so I have to walk up there, and so I walk up. I go, hey, you guys buying something today? And he looks over and he sees. I thought he was going to be like. And he goes, no. I go, did you guys just come here for lunch? He goes, yeah. It's Tuesday. We come here every Tuesday for lunch. Yeah. I'm like to Costco to the food court. He goes, yeah.
People love that.
Love
food
it.
court. They love that. It's not even like a food court. It's just like it's a snack.
fucking
It's a snack
benches.
bar.
It's
some
next to the
shitty
tires. They're
pizza.
selling tires right next to
Yeah.
the.
Yeah. The whole place
It smells like
stinks
tires.
like a tire.
No, but
Where
I'm
they
saying,
serve the food smells like tires.
but people love that. I mean, here's the thing. I guess they kept the price of that hot dog. It's like
$1.50.
$1.50, and I guess
Footlong.
that's their big thing. That's their big thing.
You
is
know how
keep
much it
that hot
costs to
dog
make a
price
hot
down.
dog? 13 cents.
Don't tell that to Super Dog.
13
because they charge
cents.
$8 over there.
You know why? Do you know why? It's not It's not the animal's toes that are so expensive. It's a pig's asshole. A pig's asshole is the most expensive part of a hot dog.
Well, you
It's
know.
because
Yeah.
once it's gone, man.
But this guy every Tuesday
Doesn't
we
grow
come-
back.
Yeah. What? Yeah, it does.
No, it's not like the
Yeah,
pig's
if you cut
tail.
stuff off, it grows back.
Not
It's-
assholes.
It's not a salamander tail. It's not a
Listen,
salamander.
are you
tail.
saying there's a shortage of assholes? I feel like there's lots of assholes that
you're
must
right.
grow
Maybe
back.
they are multiplying. They're multiplying for sure.
Yeah, that just totally freaked
There's
me
no,
out.
there's no asshole shortage here.
Yeah,
At this
and
table.
the people eating there are just gross, and they're just
You know, it'd been great Ted, if
They're-
that guy.
they're just hungry.
Hey, if that guy
They're
just
hungry.
turned around and said,
Oh.
"Mind your fucking business."
Wow, yeah.
Huh?
People
Because
do that.
because what are you, my biographer?
People do that to man.
People do. No, I mess with people all the time. Yeah.
You know what is funny though? I mean, it's almost like Fight Club. Like so, in the movie Fight Club, like I think like part of the initiation to get into Fight Club, you have to like randomly start a fight with somebody on the street.
Something like that.
Yeah, so like when
I
like,
would do that.
He just walks up to the guy and like just punches the guy, and the guy like obviously they're completely
Right.
discombobulated. But yeah, but like if some random guy approached you and just said something, it's just interesting to see what people's because they're taken completely out of their comfort zone, right? You just how do you react?
we went
to that?
after the show last week when you didn't go out. Mark and I went to Mel's,
Yes.
and they had every Wednesday is like a charity night. They
Okay.
have some sort of charity,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So
Well, this is the funny part. Yeah.
so this is the charity
Yeah.
for that night is Park Ridge Youth Football.
right.
So it's just, but it's not part of Mel's.
not-
It's just,
yeah,
it's not
just
a
some
charity,
It's just
though.
some
It's not a
random.
charity.
It's just
It's
some
not
random
charity.
person
Well,
there.
yeah, and they have like
They got a table set up.
all the
Okay.
tips go to Park Ridge Youth Football for that
Okay,
night.
yeah.
Right. So I'm not a big fan of Park Ridge Youth Football. I don't like Maine South, the high school my kid went to. I don't like their football program. I think they're a bunch of dicks there. But that's just
That's just your
I
opinion.
got a bad taste in my mouth. about it,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So Mel, we see Mel, and he's like, "Oh yeah." I go, "What do you guys got going on? It's packed in here." He goes, "Oh, every Wednesday we got a charity, right?" He's like, "What's a charity?" He goes, "Oh, Park Ridge Youth Football." I said, "Oh, okay." So I see the guy, and I tell Mark, "I don't like, and this guy looks like a typical fucking douchebag. Honestly,
What does
like the
what does
coach,
a- what does a
the coach
douchebag
guy
look like? The
Yeah,
coach?
he
We'll
looks
tell you-
like
we'll show you
a
later.
coach from Park Ridge Youth Football.
Okay.
Yeah. So I go, hey man, I go, what is this? Wednesday's a charity night. He goes, oh yeah. I go, what's a charity? He goes, oh, Park Ridge Youth Football. I go, are you guys like curing fucking cancer or
That's what
something?
he said too.
Oh, you got really
Well,
confrontational.
no,
you
man,
got
it's
really
right, though, man. It's like
you got really
Yeah.
confrontational.
Yeah,
there,
I was
didn't
like,
you,
are you guys
Sparky?
curing cancer? I go, have you figured out how to stop leukemia?
Wow.
Are you saving kids' lives or something?
Wow.
And I honestly, Mark can
Yeah,
attest
yeah.
it. I honestly thought the guy was going to take a swing at me. I honestly thought this guy was going to just
no, he was
reach
kind of
over.
weirded out at first.
Yeah,
But you were
But
right.
I kept going. I
Because
kept
he's thinking-
thinking all these different things. I'm like, are you donating money to fucking hospitals to help people? Yeah.
Wow.
And he left. I honestly
Was he
thought
sitting at was he sitting at a table?
No, he was a
Like,
guest bartender.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, he's a guest bartender.
Yeah, they have like a guest bartender
Oh.
collecting the tips, so you tip them out, and it goes to their cause.
Yeah.
In this case, you're paying for their kids, which they could afford to pay for their
Yeah.
kids to play football.
Yeah, isn't Park Ridge a pretty rich area where they could just
Yeah.
easily get that money from?
I
That's
was
like-
just. I said I don't like Park Ridge Youth Football. I don't like Maine South football. I don't like the high school football.
I'm just saying, you didn't
And
really
I
do
was just
charity
in a
for that
bad.
stuff?
I was just.
Yeah, you were in
I
a bad
just
place
wanted to-
mentally.
I just really. I don't like any of it, so I just was. I was really.
we weren't going to go in.
Yeah, we're
It
gonna
was packed. It was
we're
really packed,
gonna
yeah.
delve into this separately about why you have this
Well, listen, we were
bugaboo against.
so number one. We there was no place to sit at the bar, and
Right.
it was super loud and crowded.
Yeah.
And then Mark goes, "You want to go over here and sit at a table?" And I'm like, "No, it's gonna make it look like we're on a date."
Yeah.
Yeah, it
'Cause
was.
it would have. Yeah.
It would have definitely mattered. I'm like, let's go over here. We can have some
It
privacy.
was very far away.
It was a
too.
small
It was
table.
very far
Yeah.
away. Yeah, but yeah, I was just. I mean, I was really shitty. I don't feel bad about it, but I was really shitty. And I'm usually not. I usually don't do that because I don't want to fight. I don't actually want to fight anybody.
But somebody,
I just want to fuck with them.
But obviously, you got triggered. Something triggered you. Something triggered the deep recesses in
football.
your mind. you got triggered hard.
I could see this guy. He's the kind of guy. I could see him, screaming at kids and just being, like a football coach. He's shitty and like judging his, oh yeah, I'll tell you what, the Roberts kids, the older one, he's a good football player, good kid. The other one, kind of a pussy. Yeah. I could just see him.
He's
saying
probably
like
the kind of coach that's going to start his own kid, even though his kid sucks, and then he's going to bench the
You know
kid
what?
who's good. That's that guy.
That's
It's
exactly
that
what
guy.
he seemed like. Yeah.
And then when the parent, when they go home, it's like, how come Bobby's not starting? Because he's way better than the coach's kid. But but it's all politics. So we know that.
Yeah. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person. So all right.
And then you donated.
No,
No,
he
I
didn't.
actually pulled all my money back.
I gave
Mark
$4.
gave. Yeah, I pulled
gave
all.
$4.
I put my hand. It's funny.
And I
'cause-
thought about it after I did that too. I felt, well, here's what I said. Because Mel was collecting the money, and we hadn't tipped out our servers yet, like the real staff, right? So I gave him the money.
Yeah, tip them. Tip the people who actually
Yeah,
work there.
I know. That's what I mean. So I gave him the
We're
money. I'm
earning a
like,
living,
wait. I go, is this? I go, oh, here. And then he took it. I'm like, is this going? Wait, is this going to your people or is this going to the charity? He's like, and I go, is this going to them? He's like, yeah, it's going to them. I go, all right, yeah, that's fine. Just take it. We'll tip them out separately then.
Yeah. So
it cost me like twice as much money.
So when he would, said his money was going in a bucket, I
That's
literally
exactly.
physically
Matt slammed his hand on
slammed
top
my
of his
hand on
money.
top of my money and I pulled it back towards me and I'm like, nope,
Wow.
no way. Yeah, it's funny because I don't really get mad about anything, but you're right. I was triggered by something.
triggered.
Something made me.
You know what he did
really-
after we left? Drove around looking for a homeless person to beat up.
No, what?
I didn't
Matt,
drive
what?
around.
Matt?
I found I just drove right to Chicago.
So it's funny. We should talk about this on the next show sometime.
No, we
Like
should.
what triggers? Like I'm trying to think. What would
No,
trigger
you know-
me where you just get like
Alcohol.
so when you just get so
Alcohol
no,
withholding.
like no, you're
withholding
you're
alcohol.
completely you're completely normal, and then you see something where it just something just it puts you in a bad place like immediately. It brings out like the worst in you. So something just brought out the worst in you.
You know what? When people treat other people shittily, like when somebody who shouldn't be treated shittily,
Yeah,
that does get
Shittily.
Yeah.
No, but
That's true.
that does get me.
I don't like that either.
Yeah,
people that park in handicap spots or unhandicapped stuff, stuff like that. People who litter, people who don't use a turn signal, just little things like that. No, I'm serious.
So
I'm
no,
serious.
Listen,
I don't like that stuff.
One of the guys at the
I don't
golf
like that
course I
stuff.
work
Yeah,
at,
yeah.
he parks in a handicap spot.
And he's not handicapped.
What?
Yeah, but I don't want
He
to say
works
anything.
there?
Yes, he's got a very fancy,
Ooh,
very fancy car. I know it's his car.
It's a car that needs an egg.
It's very
So-
obvious.
it would
I
look
know
good-
the car.
It would
It's
look
a
good
very
with,
unique
It would look
color.
good with some eggs on it. Some eggs on that car.
And I want to say something because that is just.
Yeah, it's a dick move.
I don't care where.
It's a
I don't
dick
care
move.
if you're at a
Yeah,
golf
I
course.
hate
You're like,
that.
there's going to be no handicapped people.
Doesn't
Okay,
matter.
maybe.
It's just the principle.
But
Yeah.
there's banquets. There's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And I know it's a
Oh, there's
front
lots
spot.
of weddings going
Yeah,
on.
I know there's a front spot. I'm just like, you can. Here's the thing. You can walk 100 feet. You can walk 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got two fucking legs that work perfectly.
Yeah.
There are people that are in walkers or in wheelchairs
Yeah,
or all that kind of
for
stuff.
What about that foursome that was in front of us?
Oh yeah.
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 They need to be parking there.
Yeah. They were old as shit.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if they were handicapped, but they were just really fucking old. But yeah, and it's just one of those things that really gets me.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And I see it like every other day I'm working. I see it. I'm just like, how can you be so obtuse?
You know what you need to do? Take one of the handicap spots and put a brain in the wheelchair and tell them that's your spot for the mentally handicapped.
Are you?
No, you
Jesus
know what's
Christ.
Well, obviously the guy's got something wrong with him where he thinks it's okay to do that.
Well, but you know what's funny?
He's younger. I'll bet you a dime to a dollar.
There's something wrong with him.
No,
like he's
no, there's
mental.
There's a lot of the
It's not
younger
right.
people, and it's not an indictment on kids, but I think that niceness part of it is moving away as we got like caught up in the pandemic and all that other stuff. I feel like the interaction stuff, like regular like people interactions, have become more difficult for some other people, and they're so they're so used to getting exactly what they want. They get on their phone, they can order this and get that and do all these things and talk to people that you never really have to worry about any real interaction, like face-to-face interaction. Like you can just say to somebody, "You're an asshole." You don't even know. You're just like, "You're an," like when people shame people online. Right, and they say all these horrible things. Like when I read these stories,
trolls, trolls online.
And you see all this stuff. You're just like, well, there's no repercussions. So if you park there and there are no handicapped people there or nobody there to tell you what's wrong with you, you just do it and move on.
Well, I think we talked about this before. So like basically, you're not rewarding bad behavior, but there's no consequences for bad behavior. So people like that, they're still going to be jerks. But if something bad were to happen to them immediately, it's the same thing with punishment. You might still be a bad guy, but if something bad were to happen to you directly, you would definitely think twice about the next time you were going to do something if you knew that something super bad was going to happen. So actually the funny thing, funny story real quick, I saw this really fancy car a few days ago driving down the road, and obviously they must have done something wrong because they had those like do not park, those big orange do not park stickers, like
like on the side window.
Yeah, the ones that don't come off at all. It's like super sticky. So it was like on their windshield. It was on their back window on the side. So they must have parked somewhere where they shouldn't. So obviously somebody gave them their comeuppance. And I had to admit I did smile a little bit as that car drove by.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what some people do with that? If you park too close to them, or if you park in front of their house, people stick those things on your window.
Yeah.
So
I guess
sometimes it can be used as
I don't know the circumstances.
So it can be used as kind of like a dick move. Okay, so let's put this thing to bed. Let's see. Oh, I'm not letting you go first, Ted. Mark, last thoughts.
I would, if I've learned anything from the show, it would be not to exclude any chimpanzee from birthday cake. I never knew they were so vengeful.
All animals have a little bit of vengeance in them.
Man, that is like some serious conspiring.
Yeah. And think about waiting
2 months later.
Months. Yeah. I mean, so
they couldn't wait to get at that guy.
So what if you have like twins? Okay, and you give your one twin, so somehow you accidentally give them a big birthday cake, and the other cake gets kind of burnt, so they get like half a birthday cake. I mean, how long does it take before that kid kills you in your sleep? I mean, honestly. Yeah.
Don't underestimate jealousy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted, did you get a lot of birthday cakes?
I didn't get any cake.
You did not get any cakes. Oh shit.
We had a Portillo's cake yesterday.
Did you really?
Was it a bunt? Was it a bunt?
My mom's birthday. We
Bunt
had it at
cake?
my house.
Oh, happy birthday to your mom.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah. You had that. Yeah. You guys were partying. I like
so you know what
Portillo's.
they have now they have the lemon.
I do not like lemon.
Oh, man,
I do not like lemon cakes. I don't like lemon cookies.
Carrot cake?
Love carrot cake.
I love carrot cake too.
Oh man.
With the frost, it's got that
white
frosting on it.
Oh, that's the best. Yeah.
Now, angel food cake is not bad.
Angel food cake.
Carrot cake is actually
my
probably my
favorite.
I haven't had that for years.
Favorite cake, angel food cake, chocolate frosting. My sister will confirm this tomorrow.
Yeah.
That is my favorite. That is my go-to cake. Yeah. If I had one cake left, like say I'm a Charles Manson.
Jackie, if
Charles
you're
Manson
listening,
Jr.
you're listening. You're coming tomorrow.
Yeah. Charles
He's
Manson
hinting
Jr.
right now. He wants that cake.
Yeah. I fall into his cult, and he says, "Listen, I need you to kill the president." And I'm like, "Is it Trump?" Okay. And he's like,
He's not the president anymore.
Yeah, I'll give you. He could be though. Yeah, I'll give you an
be.
angel food cake with chocolate frosting. I'm just like, and a gun, and I'm good. Yeah.
What do you if Jackie shows up with cake just for him? Are you gonna go chimp on her?
Go bullshit.
No, I'm actually on a diet. I'm on a diet. So. No, she will not be maimed.
Okay. All right, Teddy. Last thoughts.
Pre-assembled IKEA furniture is very unpleasant, Mark, and I don't recommend it. So.
Pre-assembled? No, pre-assembled is perfect.
No, he's talking about the stuff you got to put together.
Yeah. What's that called? Is that the right term for it?
I don't know.
Pre-assembled.
Pre-assembled
No.
doesn't that mean it's assembled already?
I'm sorry, not pre-assembled.
Assembly
Unassembled.
necessary. Yeah,
Unassembled.
Yeah, but
IKEA
that's
furniture.
why it's so inexpensive. If
No, it's inexpensive because it's shit. It's cheap. It's not made well.
Really?
It's okay.
I got a lot of IKEA shit in this house, and it's pretty fucking solid.
I just don't want to. Yeah, it's good stuff. I just don't want to put it together.
This table's
IKEA
actually
is a sponsor.
solid.
This is a nice-
There
this is a nice
is good
table.
stuff
This is a
there.
nice table.
We tend to buy the bad stuff when we used to buy stuff.
Well, we were young and we bought shitty stuff.
Yeah,
That was at the
that's true.
beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right.
And now you've arrived. You've climbed the social ladder, and you can afford.
Well, that was one of my
Better
favorite
stuff
things.
now.
We went to like real furnniture stores, like Ethan Allen,
Yeah.
and whatever,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Thomas Furniture,
Walter E. Smith.
right? And you walk in, and you're just like, okay, so we want an end table, $4,000.
$4,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, I want to put my feet on it.
Yeah.
And I want to put pizza on it, and I want to put beer on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
No.
Maybe, do you have one that's like, I don't know, $100? And then the first thing they say is, "What are we, IKEA?" And I
go to
didn't even know
Walmart.
what this
Just go to
place
Wa- just go to
was, and I was
Walmart.
like, "What? IKEA? Yeah,
That's
sounds
where I'm going.
that sounds great." And then the guy's like, "You got to put it together." I'm like, "How fucking hard can it be?" And then Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it's like it's a top and
Those,
four
those
legs.
little wooden dowels, they always screw. The one always like screws in sideways and always like cracks the wood on the side. Oh, I can never get that right.
Oh man, I would love to see you putting something together.
I just saw Chimp putting something together.
Yeah, did they get a cake for a reward?
No, Chimps could put that shit together.
They probably could. Some of them.
Yeah, they're probably angry afterwards though. Yeah, I mean, you want to really piss a chimp off?
Give them IKEA furniture to
No
put
cake,
together.
and you're putting together one more flirkin' gherkin. So Teddy, did you give your last thought? I didn't pay attention.
That was
Yeah,
actually
IKEA furniture.
that was
That's
actually
it. Don't put IKEA furniture together. All right.
Hire somebody to do it for you.
You know what? I was excited.
Delegate it.
Yeah, I was excited to have Mike McCarter on from the Greater Idaho Movement. It seemed a lot like what I thought, right?
I actually didn't know
But-
what it was until he said it, but
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, that seems pretty
It's
harmless.
so funny.
I-
We've been talking about this for weeks.
I know, but I'm
we
just saying,
haven't.
like,
I actually do think. I mean, I think that they got it something here if they put it on the ballot, and I think they need the way they're going about it with the grassroots movement and the next step putting on the ballot. That would be interesting.
But
to
you know
see.
what the problem is? As I looked at the counties that voted, they barely made it above 50%. Like,
But if they
like
play their cards right,
Yeah,
some
but-
of these other counties will want them to go.
but in each county, it's like 225 to move to Idaho, 221 to not move. So it's not like
and it's a
it's-
sparsely. I mean,
right,
it's got to be a
not like-
sparsely
it's not like
populated
90%
area.
of the people, 90% of people want to become part of Idaho.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, yeah. So some of the counties they are winning, but they're winning by like 8 votes, 12 votes, 15. It's not like all these people are just like fuck Oregon.
Yeah.
I do want to get to the Pacific Northwest one of these days because I heard it's beautiful. We got to get there.
We got to
sometime.
go to an Oregon
Yeah,
Ducks
but-
game.
but-
I didn't want to tell them I was an Oregon
No,
Ducks
no,
fan.
So
My niece
no,
is at
don't
Oregon.
do
My niece is
that.
at Oregon State.
Yeah,
I
and
told
she
you
will
that.
burn in hell for that.
Yeah.
So-
I keep saying that. It's so weird.
Yeah.
So it's weird because, like I said, it seems like there's my buddy. I guess his mother-in-law lives somewhere in Oregon, but so he had to fly into Portland and had to drive like 2 hours somewhere. And I guess it's the middle of like
Wait, Mike is 2 hours away.
No, I'm just saying, but it's like the middle of nowhere. So the
That's
point
where
is,
he lives, in the middle of
It's like
nowhere.
a sparsely populated area. So
And that
I
was
mean,
your sister?
no, that's just
Wait,
a
your
friend of
sister's
a friend.
dating Mike?
No, a friend of mine. His wife's family, like brother, lives out somewhere in Oregon. I don't know. It's like some small town in Oregon I've never heard of.
Lapine? That's where Mike lives.
No,
Is he
no,
part of
no.
the Greater Idaho Movement?
No. So, but the
Are you
point
sh-
is, no. I'm just saying, it's very a lot of sparsely populated areas
Yeah.
in that region.
Well, yeah.
So that's all I'm saying.
it's a very small amount of people in a
You know what
very
they have
large
there?
amount of space.
Big feet.
Tons of big feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if anyone should
big,
have
big
big
folks.
feet, yeah, there should be big feet all over the place. In that one.
Oh,
I mean, it's
yeah,
all
dude, they're all over
foresty.
there.
Yeah,
That's what that show is on TV. Finding Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Was in Oregon?
It's in an upper.
Yeah,
Pacific
somewhere in the
Northwest,
Pacific
yeah.
North. So it's in the Pacific
Well, that's
Northwest.
where the
like,
Wilderness
there's
College
there's
was.
Washington,
Wilderness College.
Washington
That's right,
State.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we got bears up there, right? Bears, Oregon.
Most of them
Washington
are big
State.
feet. I think
Yeah,
they're
big feet.
mistaken for bears. Yeah, it's
Is that
very,
a beaver? That's a Bigfoot.
It's very common. And one of the
Anything that's
biggest
got brown fur is a Bigfoot.
there's very little bear attacks, and there's one simple reason. Birthday cakes. Lots and lots of birthday cakes. Like the first thing you do is you make 2 birthday cakes. For
Offer
everybody.
up. Offer up.
Yeah, one for the family, and you just take one out there
for the bears.
and you're just like, "Hey, man, happy bear day," right? And then
This
it's
is
like
for
if you
all
see any
of
chimpanzees,
you.
You could have birthday cake ice cream too. You don't have to actually have a cake. You could just have the ice cream that tastes like birthday
You want
cake.
to be attacked by a fucking bear, Ted? Yeah. Give a bear ice cream and see how fast. See how
Ted,
fast
what are you
you're
stupid?
dead.
Why did you bring bear spray? Idiot, just bring a cake.
That would be so awesome.
Actually, there was a story
Oh,
about
man,
a bear.
there's a bear coming. Did you bring a cake?
Actually,
No.
there
I
was
guess you're fucked.
There was a bear. There was a bear. This is a real story. So, just real quick, there was a bear in Oregon. I guess it broke into some bakery in some rural area of Oregon and ate like 100 cupcakes.
See?
Yeah. It was
good.
because it was his birthday.
Yeah, and you know what? It didn't eat a person because it had 100 cupcakes, so it didn't need to eat.
Then went into a diabetic coma and died.
It just laid down
immediately.
and took a nap.
Yeah, why? But why would a bear want a cupcake? That can't be anything. I mean, they want meat.
Did you see the bear that
No, it was
goes
just
into
hungry.
that
It was
convenience
hungry.
store?
Oh yeah, you see that? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's on
he,
video.
he takes all the candy bars.
Yeah, there's
and
a
runs
bear.
out. He comes in there like once a week.
Yeah.
A morbidly obese bear.
He comes in.
Yeah.
Am I right, Ted? It's
Yeah,
the
yes,
funniest
right, yeah,
video in
yeah.
the world.
Yeah, it's a video. It
Once
shows
a week.
this bear.
Like
It just
once
comes
a
into the
week?
store and it just takes all the candy bars and it just leaves.
Why don't they just throw candy out in front?
They
mean,
don't
it's
know
kind
when
of-
he's going to show
It's kind
up.
of a novel story.
Yeah, but
though.
if
I
you
mean, yeah.
see it, I mean, wouldn't you have just a box of candy bars? You see it, you throw it out, close the door, and it just leaves.
I don't think
Am I
they see
smarter
it.
than everybody? What do you mean you don't see it?
Well,
It's
you're
a fucking
smarter
bear.
than the average bear. That's
Well,
for
bears
sure,
are pretty smart.
Yogi.
Bears are pretty smart.
Hey, boo boo! I'm going to break into the convenience store and get some more. No, this is
Well,
ridiculous.
he's not breaking it. He's walking right through the door.
But he's stealing.
It's open for business.
Well, I think he's got a line of credit.
No, he's probably doing crack in Portland.
It's probably a good talking
coming
point. I
over.
mean, it's probably a good marketing thing for the store. Like, hey, there's a bear that comes here once a week, and like if you're the patron, I mean, chances are
Come for the Doritos, stay for the bear.
if you just yeah, it'd be kind of cool. Like if I was in a convenience store, I knew there was going to be a bear that came and it was going to
Ted's
attack
hanging
me.
out there, dude. What are you doing hanging out here?
It just
Wait
wants
for the bear.
it just wants the candy bar, so just give it what it wants.
I see Ted being put back in a police car. This guy's been loitering here for 2 days.
Just give it what it wants.
Oh man, there's a guy. He's a guy. He's been out front for 2.5 weeks.
He's talking to himself. He's waiting for the bears.
Yeah. He's bought so many candy bars. He just smothers himself in chocolate.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's laying out there naked, smothered in chocolate. Well, not you, Ted.
Yeah.
A different Ted.
Bears like a lot of stuff. They like fried chicken. They like candy bars. They like cupcakes. Yeah, they don't just eat salmon.
garbage.
That's not. They're not garbage eaters. They're not raccoons.
No, but
They
they go
do.
to
They go through
dumpsters.
those
They go to
dumpsters.
dumpsters and garbage cans. Yeah, they're scavengers.
There's a
They eat berries. They eat stuff.
We're getting an
go-
animal
yeah,
expert.
we'll
You know
get-
what?
we'll get into
Fuck
that
you.
later.
We're
We'll
getting a bear expert on.
There's people that go to the dumps just to watch the bears eat.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got a funny dump story. I'll save for another day. All right. Listen, we love it. Thanks
You're not
everybody.
gonna dump the show, are you?
No, we're gonna record tomorrow, but we're gonna post it next week. Okay. I don't know if our guest will be here or not. He may or may not be, but I know my sister will be. Okay.
Jackie!
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll post that next week, and you won't even know that Mark is on vacation, and Ted and I are trying to find bears. Yeah, as many Snickers bars. The deal will be: do they have bears in Chicago? We'll have every Snickers bar within 100 miles laying on top of
You know
us,
who's going to show up? Dan
and
Hampton.
we'll see. A Chicago beer,
Yeah.
little mini Mike Dick.
It doesn't Dan Hampton. He lives in Indiana somewhere. We should have him on the show.
No, we shouldn't.
Months.
All right, everybody have a great time, and we'll see you guys next week.